Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. The government ordered to stop demolitions of shantytowns. No removal of structures in Abaco shantytowns unless the court approves it. The CDC lowers the Bahamas' travel advisory. And the Foreign Affairs Minister says the government's helped over 500 Bahamians during the pandemic who were stuck abroad. All straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
It's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, June 8th, 2021. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Don Sargent will be joining us. Also this morning in Morning Blend Business, we are talking about the increasing number of businesses that are going cashless. Are you ready? What you need to do to be prepared if you're not, and why this is a positive move. It's all straight ahead this morning, but first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, a Supreme Court judge ordering the government to cease and desist further demolitions in shanty towns on Abaco and ruling that the government must get approval from the court if it wishes to demolish structures in shanty towns on the island. Shantytown residents, who are represented by Fred Smith QC, are challenging the government's 2018 policy, which sought to get rid of shanty towns in the country. Implementation of the policy was halted after an injunction banning demolition on New Providence and parts of Abaco. That was granted by Cheryl Grant Thompson that same year. The government recently filed a summons to vary the injunction to exclude applicants on Abaco. The applicants, meanwhile, had asked the court for the injunction to be extended to cover all shanty towns in the Bahamas, or, in the alternative, all shanty towns on Abaco. Now, while reading her ruling on the applications yesterday, Grant Thompson said the applicants seek to have the court extend the entirety of the Bahamas. She said, quote, "After reviewing the papers before me, I am of the view that sufficient evidence has not been adduced to show the need for the court to extend the injunction in this regard." She then rejected the request for the applicants to have the injunction extended to the entire Bahamas. She said, with the request to have the injunction extended to the entirety of the Abacos, she said she was of the view that the request must be granted, quote, "both because that was the intention of the parties by consent and as it is required in order to ensure that the status quo in relation to the Abacos is preserved until a final decision has been made." So essentially that means the government must cease and desist from any further interference with the homes of the residents on Abaco in the relevant areas. Grant Thompson noting that the government obviously had the right to demolish and clear down homes that are in breach or violation of the Disaster Reconstruction Authority Act 2019 or any other law that may require such action. The government started demolition in the farm shantytown in Treasure Key in April. 45 incomplete and unoccupied structures in the shantytown were demolished on April 22nd, and another 10 were demolished on May 14th and 15th. In other news, Minister of Foreign Affairs Darren Hempfield says that his ministry has helped over 500 Bahamians abroad last year, most of whom were stuck in other countries because of COVID-19 restrictions. He says together with their overseas missions, they assisted 539 Bahamians who were distressed and or displaced because of lockdowns in countries or lockdowns by airplanes that refused to fly. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention moving the Bahamas from a level 4 travel health notice to a less serious level 3 in April. The CDC advised travelers to avoid the Bahamas, but in its latest notice, it advises travelers who intend to visit the country to ensure that they are fully vaccinated. The CDC still says that there's a high level of COVID-19 in the country, but Minister of Tourism, Dionisio de Aguilar, says that this is fantastic news. National Security Minister Marvin Dames says that inmates at the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services will not be left out of the COVID vaccine rollout. He says they have a plan to vaccinate every single resident, and that includes inmates at the prison. And Deputy Commissioner of Police Ismella Davis Delancey will retire in the next month or so, according to Dames. He says that she's reached the end of her time at the police force, saying that he was very proud of her work. Overseas, the death toll from a horrific collision of two trains in southern Pakistan rising now today to 63 after rescuers pulled 12 more bodies from crumpled cars a day after the crash. The collision took place on a dilapidated railway track in Godki, a district in the southern part of the country, when an express train barreled into another that had derailed minutes earlier before dawn on Monday. Most of the passengers, and there were about 1,100 on both trains, most of them were asleep when the Millat Express, traveling between the southern port of Karachi, derailed and many of its cars overturned. Passengers scrambled to get out. Another passenger train, the Sir Saeed Express, crashed into the derailed coaches. Rescue work continued throughout the day Monday, overnight into Tuesday. Bodies of passengers killed in the crash were taken to their hometowns for burial. Army engineers and soldiers dispatched from a nearby military base assisted in the rescue, and heavy machinery arrived to cut open some trains. It's unclear what caused the derailment. The more critically injured were transported to hospitals with better facilities across the country. In sports, off to what could be considered the best start of her WNBA career and helping the Connecticut Sun match their best start in franchise history, Bahamian professional women's basketball player Jonquel J.J. Jones has solidified herself among the league's best players and is a frontrunner for the WNBA Most Valuable Player award. But the campaign will take a backseat in the coming weeks as she takes a break from league action to compete for Bosnia and Herzegovina at the 2021 FIBA European Women's Basketball Championship, commonly known as Eurobasket Women 2021. The 6'6" Bahamas native, who pledged allegiance to the European nation 3 years ago, is aiming to help them qualify for the 2022 FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup and the 2024 Olympics, while at the same time leading the country to what would be its first Eurobasket Women's title. And the National Sports Authority, in partnership with the Miami Marlins, the Bahamas Consulate General in Miami, and the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism and Aviation, the Bahamas Olympic Committee, and the Bahamas Baseball Association and Bahamas Air, inviting Bahamians to Be part of the Bahamian Heritage Celebration on June 12th. The event in honor of Bahamian Major League Baseball player Jazzrato Jazz Chisholm will take place at Lone Depot Park in Miami at 4:10 p.m. on June 12th, when the Marlins host their National League East Division rival, the Atlanta Braves. Participating Bahamians will have the benefit of special airline packages from Bahamas Air and Bahamian game ticket packages, which include a free 242 to the World commemorative Marlins shirt. Get all the details in today's Guardian Sports section. From the NBA and the playoffs, Kevin Durant scoring 32 points last night as the Brooklyn Nets take a 2-0 lead with a destruction of the Bucks. A blowout, 125-86, the score last night. And in the other game, Chris Paul leading the Phoenix Suns over the Denver Nuggets 122-105 to take Game 1 in their playoff Round 2 series. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your weather for today, we've got a ridge of high pressure that continues to dominate the weather across the country and produce moderate to fresh breezes through tonight. There are some warnings, rip currents likely along eastern and southern shorelines. For all areas today, look for partly cloudy, hot, and humid conditions with a slight chance of a few passing showers, turning mostly fair and warm tonight. A small craft caution remains in effect. Winds east to southeast at 15 to 20 knots, gusty at times. Seas 4 to 7 feet, but higher in gusts. Temperature-wise, it's about 79 degrees, partly cloudy skies in Nassau, 78 in Freeport. Look for highs getting up to 91 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 75 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit.
Wake up, it's a new day.
It's time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
You know that it's still the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Roaming just got easier. Say hello to more with our new Liberty Prime plan. With more minutes, more tech, more data to do the things you love right here at home and even when you travel. With the all-new Liberty Prime, Liberty Premium, and Liberty Elite, you've got one less worry. Roam again. Alive. Believe in best.
Believe in best.
Go cashless with CIBC First Caribbean. Ensure that you only visit reputable and secure websites when paying for goods and services with your CIBC First Caribbean Visa debit or credit card online. You can tell if a website is secure if it has an HTTPS at the beginning of the URL or the lock and key symbol appears. Visit CIBCFCIB.com for more information. Go cashless with CIBC First Caribbean.
There's only one way to have a better morning. How? Start your mornings the best way with our 2 for $6 breakfast sandwiches at Wendy's. For a limited time, choose any 2 of your favorite breakfast sandwiches, including the fresh Strachan sack muffin, honey buttermilk chicken biscuit, double sausage muffin, or the sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. Wash it all down with our cold brew shake or coffee. Better mornings always start at Wendy's. Wendy's, different inside and out. Excludes airport locations.
Travel less, but vacation more by indulging yourself and your family with the ultimate staycation getaway at Atlantis. Sleep in, relax, play, go out. Say yes to a fantastic staycation in your very own paradise just over the bridge. For reservations, call 363-6483 or visit Atlantis Local on Facebook for details.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Don Sargent. Good morning, Don. Don Sargent, yes. Okay, there we go. Hi, good morning, Don. Great to have you with us, as always.
Morning, Dwight.
Hope all is well.
Yes, still alive.
Okay, wonderful stuff, wonderful stuff. And we have a lot to talk about this morning, and we told you how you can join the conversation. We'll give you the phone numbers in just a bit. Coming up this morning, we are going to be discussing all those issues in the news quite a bit, as we said. Then in Morning Blend Business, we are going to be talking about the number of companies that are going cashless. We're hearing that over and over, and more companies announcing they are accepting digital payments and what that means for you. If you still aren't on board with that, what you need to know, what you need to be doing, and why this is a beneficial move. We're going to be getting into that. But let's start with what's in the news.
BTC. For internet experience, more people.
And in the news, this saga just is dragging on and on. Shantytowns, what to do with them, especially on Abaco, especially in light of what happened after Dorian. And now the government's been ordered to cease and desist the demolition of shantytowns on Abaco. Not the rest of the country, though, but on Abaco. For more on this and what came out of the court yesterday, take a listen to this report from our Jared Higgs.
A court injunction protecting shantytown residents from having their homes demolished is being extended to cover all shantytowns on Abaco. Attorneys for those shantytown residents asked for the injunction to cover the entire Bahamas, but that request was denied by Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson. The decision means government will have to pause or change its shantytown demolition exercise in the farm shantytown. Lawyers for the government had asked Grant Thompson to vary the injunction to remove Abaco, arguing that Hurricane Dorian destroyed the homes in the shantytowns and they no longer require protection. But Grant Thompson denied that request, reasoning that even if one home remains, it ought to be protected by the injunction. Grant Thompson told the court that the injunction should only be in place for 3 months as the substantive Shantytown judicial review nears a close. She noted that the court is mindful of the human element involved in the matter and that the people involved have universal rights. She added that it is important for the Bahamas to display mutual respect for the lives of everybody in the country, regardless of who they are or where they originated from. Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Jared Higgs.
All right, so that's a summary of it there. There's a lot more on this in today's Nassau Guardian. I'm going to read some of it for you, but you do need to pick up a copy so you can understand this fully. All right, so as you heard, the government filed a summons to vary the injunction to exclude applicants on Abaco. The applicants, meanwhile, had asked the court for the injunction to be extended to cover all shanty towns in the country, or at least all shanty towns on Abaco. Now, while reading her ruling, Grant Thompson said, quote, "The applicants presently seek to have the court extend the entirety of the Bahamas. However, after reviewing the papers before me, I am of the view that sufficient evidence has not been adduced to show the need for the court to extend the injunction in this regard. Therefore, I reject the request of the applicants to have the injunction extended to the entire Bahamas. In relation to the request by the applicants to have the injunction extended to the entire Abacos, I am of the view that this request must be granted both because that was the intention of the parties by consent and as it is required in order to ensure that the status quo in relation to the Abacos is preserved until a final decision has been made. This means that the government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas must cease and desist from any further interference with the homes of the residents of the island of Abaco in the relevant areas." She noted that the government obviously has the right to demolish and clear down homes that are in breach of violation of the Reconstruction Authority Act or any other law that may require such action. And as you know, the government started demolition in the farm shantytown in Treasure Key in April, and 45 incomplete and unoccupied structures were demolished on April 22nd, and another 10 on May 14th and May 15th. On June 1st, Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Public Works Desmond Bannister said demolition of the structures in the farm will continue until all are gone. He said the government marked 22 structures for demolition last week. Now, in her ruling yesterday, Grant Thompson said, quote, "As it relates to the purported actions of the government in demolishing homes of residents on the island of Abaco, the respondents, the government claimed that these acts are only being done to structures that are in violation of the law. The applicants aver that many of the structures were capable of being repaired since the passage of Hurricane Dorian and were not in breach or violation of any law. Yet they were also demolished during these exercises by the government. In my view, the only way to ensure fair play until the conclusion of this matter is to have oversight of any action that is proposed to be done in relation to further destruction of homes on the island of Abaco. The injunction now fully covers Abaco. This simply means that prior to any further demolition taking place on the island of Abaco, evidence that the homes selected for demolition are in fact in breach of the law should first be presented to and approved by the court. This order of the court is to take immediate effect." All right. So, as we said, there's a lot more in the paper today. Jasper Ward has a very comprehensive report on it. You need to pick up a copy to read more on this. But let's get your views on this, folks. She says it's coming soon. Coming soon. I think we heard 3 months there. Okay. But what does this mean? It's only for the Abacos. What impact will this have? Will this open the government up to further challenges? What do you make of it? Let's talk about it. 36232 325 4316 325 4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. I know we're going to hear from some of our callers today, some who were saying the exact same thing, that they should at least go to the court first before they do anything. And this is what the Supreme Court is saying as well. All right, so let's hear. Don, what are your views? What do you say?
I have no comment, I guess.
Okay.
Is it that the court order was... I have a question. Is it that the court order was basically saying this has to stop indefinitely, or it stops until we get a result from whatever the judicial review ends up being?
The latter. Until this is resolved, don't demolish anything until the court matter is resolved.
So that makes me want to ask the question, is this a situation of the government being unable to simply demolish homes that weren't built on up to code? Or does this mean that the government, under the current legal framework, can't do so, and in order to do so, they have to pass another law?
Okay, you got to say that again.
What do you mean?
Ask your question again.
So I mean, like, is it that they can't do it under the current legal framework, and that's what this is about? Or is it like they can't do it? Is it just this framework, and they could do it if they change the law, or is it just plain simply unable to be done, period, forever, indefinitely?
Well, I think the ruling in a few months might influence that, right? Because as you heard, she's saying you can do what you need to outside of Abaco, but because we're trying to deal with this matter with Abaco, let's deal with that first before you do anything else. So, depending on that ruling, that might determine the answer to your question there, which is a good question. But for now, if the government feels that something Abaco is in violation of the law and needs to be demolished, it has the right to do so, but not in Abaco until there's a ruling. And again, I know we're going to hear "I told you so" from a lot of people, who said this over the last few weeks. But let's see. Let's go to the phone lines. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Godly days, this talking voice along with you and the other brother Dwight. I always forgetting his name. Don
Sargent. Yes. Good morning.
Okay. What's the thing? What I want to say, a couple of things. The thing is, now the Shantytown would allow not to be broken down, right? Do they have the government have a plan that was specified to the ones that build it to say how there needs to be built?
We have a building code.
We have a building code, but
what
I'm asking, code was the building code given to the judge to see what type of towns were built on the island? That's my first question. Let me comment on that before I go to my other point. If the judge haven't gotten a plan from government to see what they're talking about, or from the people who complain about the shanty towns being destroyed, if they don't have a plan, if they hadn't given the magistrate or the judge a plan to show what type of shanty town were broken down, then there has no case. My other point is, right? The government get in this dilemma because of not acting on the immature laws that were happening in Abaco. If they had acted in this problem, of course they're not in a problem if those people doesn't have a plan, to show that this was my house, this was the way my house was built. If the judge doesn't have that, then they're not saying anything. The government still has rights. You see what I'm saying? Or you understand what I'm saying?
Not exactly, but I think I know where you're coming from. But it's much more complex than that. It's much more complex.
Dwight.
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to build a place on a piece of property, you have to get a plan from Public Works, or you have to get a plan drawn and take it to Public Works or wherever for it to be passed. If
You know that wasn't done here. That's not what this is, right? So these people
if
were,
that,
yeah,
if
but
that
now,
wasn't done, then the government have rights to do what they had done.
well, maybe that will come in the ruling when we get the ruling on this. But yeah, that's not what the issue is. They're saying they have nowhere else to go, and that during this time after Dorian, my goodness, how can you destroy our homes? That's the basis of the whole initial challenge. Okay, everybody knows
that makes me wonder though, Dwight, because it kind of sets precedent, right? Again, I have no real position on that issue, but I'm curious as to the issue, because the way that the government's approached it is to say that these houses are not up to building code or up to spec, therefore they should be demolished. Am I correct in saying that?
That's partly it, yes, but also no authority to build here, and right, all kinds of things.
See, but the problem then there is, right, just say it's kind of what the Twala was talking about, is if, let's say, for example, I buy a piece of property somewhere in Nassau and I decide, I want to build my house. Let's say the government's young professionals, $40,000 pieces of property out west, and 10 homes or 10 biz plans that I can buy. Otherwise, I have to get a pre-approval from whichever committee board they have set up in place. But if I erect the structure there, because I own the property because I bought the damn thing, and the government then says, you can't do that. It cannot be argued then that based on the ruling, let's say the ruling's in favor of Rights Bahamas in this case, can I then argue, well, I have no place else to go. I spent $40,000 on a piece of property. That's my life savings. And I went to the bank to erect the structure. And if you throw me out of this, I lose my investment. I lose everything.
Well, you would also have signed a contract stating what you can and cannot do in your property. So
now,
you're going to have a problem.
The contract makes sense.
You're going to have a problem. But what he's suggesting is that because I built my home to code anywhere I want to, you can't do anything to me. And that's not what this is about. So it's
but
much
it raises
deeper
so
than
many
that.
questions, right? Because I guarantee you, I'm not saying that people are going to take the ruling and, well, who knows, right? I'm not assuming that people are going to take whatever ruling comes about it and then say, well, they can do this, so I can too. But I think it'll be a situation of later on down the line, right, when a person's in Nassau, for instance, whatever ruling comes with this will be cited as saying, hey, if you can't do it here, how does it make sense for you to do it in this country? Because if let's say the person said, if I built this according to spec, then what grounds do you have to demolish my property? I mean, so
that's why that case is a lot deeper than that. But yes, there are going to be ramifications. There are going to be implications for a lot of things.
And I wonder if this was the best approach for them to do, right? I wonder if this was thought out to say, like, if we go down this road, what are the repercussions? Versus, is it possible for the government to just enact legislation in reference to this, which still doesn't deal with the housing crisis that we have? But I'm just very curious as to the logic here, and then like the long-term rippling effects this is going to inevitably have.
Yep, definitely. I think some people are thinking about that. I think many are looking at it from that point of view, definitely. Let's take some more calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Dawn. Dwight, the parliament in this country. See, I want you young folks to listen to me properly. Nothing is going to change in this country. Tell them what's good to hurt, They that case, They be in power. All those years, they could fix some things from long time, right? And they do nothing. They part of the problem. The Christian country is part of the problem. These human rights activists are part of the problem. Where there's no law in the country, there'll be anarchy. Look at all those countries that have laws. You see, if the government let the civil servants do their job and stop being so political, see, government job is go there and pass legislation, And look at all the countries that abide by the law, Cuba and all them good countries. Ain't a problem, no crime there. Be too slack, be too passive, be like money too much. We like to deal and deal. Our people, we like everything just dealing and dealing. Nothing will change right this country till 2027. And all the Bailey people who listen to me right now, they will penny land in the island of the Providence. By Carl and Michael Wood, that whole water field, man, go there and take a 100 by 100 and clear that and force it up there.
Well,
to
okay, I don't think that's a good idea at all. It'll give some real problems. Wow. Okay. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight. Good morning. How y'all doing today?
Hello, Anton. Good morning.
What does that mean, Dwight?
I said hello. Good morning. You want some special music to say "I told you so"? I told you this is what they should have done.
Well, I was the only one, the first and certainly the only one for quite some time, making the point, and it has nothing to do with "I told you so," Dwight. As a matter of fact, while you were speaking, I just made a quick note that I like to read too, and then I'd like to speak to two other points before I hang up, please, Dwight. I feel the government made this matter of the demolition of the Abaco shanty towns a political football in their desperate attempt to regain lost respect and favor of the Bahamian voters with an impending election, which they know that they're not looking good. However, on the flip side, I'm very grateful to Justice Grant Thompson for demonstrating that there are justices in the Bahamas who are prepared to maintain the independence of the judiciary and not permit the government to disrespect the courts, to act as though they are judge, jury, and executioner, to disregard due process, and ensure it acknowledges its international obligations to bodies such as the UN. And so that ruling yesterday by Justice Grant Thompson is loaded, and it does a world of good for our judiciary, and it puts a check on this loose government who's playing politics and doing all sorts of damage to this country's reputation and otherwise to the country on the domestic level. Okay, moving on to the other two quick points, Dwight. I something else that I've been pointing out for quite some time, and the only other person that would have acknowledged it would have been the director for ORG. What's his name again, Dwight?
Matt Aubrey,
right? In terms of, now look, the government has spent about $45 million of taxpayers' funds, right, with the SPDC, right? And while it is a good initiative, the government was very late coming to the table, very late in my opinion, and it went about spending tens of millions of our taxpayer dollars incorrectly. As a matter of fact, it was almost as though the government was throwing our money in the wind. If you notice the report, Dwight, from the IDB recently, that report spells out some serious facts as it relates to what the government was not revealing to the Bahamian people. It told us in one of its revelations that I think somewhere around 51 or 54% of the businesses that received funding from the SPDC went belly up. It failed because there was no data that led the decision making. There was no comprehensive study that guided the decision making that would have informed the government on its public policy relations that would have been necessary in order to be effective in how it applies the $45 million of our taxpayer money to ensure that it was most relevant and that those businesses would have stood a chance based on the support that the government would have given it. And when you make silly decisions and rough decisions, especially when you're trying to gain political favor using taxpayer dollars, this is the end result. Now, who's going to be held accountable is the next question that we need to ask. And finally, Dwight.
All right, now let me just ask you one thing about that. Is that outside the realm of success for most businesses? Is that very different, or is it in keeping with the success rate? And
but Dwight, if you recall, when you interviewed me on your show, I explained to you a part of my background is project planning and business development, right? And so, Dwight, it's not about it being outside the realm of what exists or what occurs traditionally with businesses in terms of their success or fail rate. What it has to do with, Dwight, is when you have the government of the Bahamas with all of its arms, with all of its strength, its reach, and its resources, with all of the and experts that operate in the government realm, you should be able, Dwight, to analyze and to put in place a plan using strengths and weaknesses and threats to come up with the best possible outcome, Dwight. You should be able to do that. And if you conduct a proper
you can try. You can try. I mean, you can try, but
Dwight, no.
There's no guarantee that there will be success. Look at all the government corporations and entities we have. Many of them are failing. So what does it mean?
Dwight, I understand this point. I understand this underwriting point. This is the foundational point. You could put $100 million into the SPDC. If you do not create an environment in our economy where those businesses stand a chance to succeed and to sustain that success, they will fail in a short period of time. The only thing that money will add up to, Dwight, is a shot in the arm and making it look like you're doing something and you're playing politics with our money, when in effect, you're actually wasting our money and no one is being held accountable at the end of the day. This is the mistake we continue to make over and repeatedly. Administrations.
I hear you, Anton. There's a lot of variables, though. There are a lot of variables that can determine the success of a business.
Dwight,
So
Dwight,
the humans
all those variables
involved.
can be determined through a proper and comprehensive analysis where you make the best decision that guarantees the best outcome. And that was not done in this circumstance before the tens of millions of dollars was spent, Dwight. And finally, Dwight, there is a piece written by Sir Franklin Wilson. I would encourage you all. It's in the Tribune, and I know that you read Tribune articles from time to time. It's speaking to the budget. And my former boss, when I worked in the accounting realm, Craig Tony Gomez, managing partner at Baker Tilly, Dan Gomez and Gomez Chartered Accountants, also wrote on the current budget. I think that's great information, Dwight. If you could possibly, if not today, tomorrow, bring that to the public's attention. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, thanks a lot, Anton. Well, okay. I'm
just going to say this one thing. The same things all previous administrations were guilty of. And I guarantee you, the next administration, whoever they are, is going to get the same fingers pointed at them. It's the same structural issues over and over again. Just saying. I've heard this last election cycle, the one before that, and the one before that. But anyway, I'm very disillusioned with all of them. They're all trash in my opinion. Okay. But are we going back to the topic of the shanty towns?
yes, that is the topic today. That is the topic.
I was just going to say one thing on that is I hope we don't forget the fact that the last administration, and I'm not doing this to point to say what Peter and Paul are the same, therefore nothing wrong with this government. No, this government's made glaring mistakes. But I'm just saying some of the same things that we point at in this administration, and that a lot of Bahamians agree with, despite what people may call it and say, a lot of Bahamians agree with the government demolishing those things. A lot of Bahamians agree with the previous administration, when they had the mass deport. Well, let me not use that term. That's a term that was used by some advocates. They had a mass deportation exercise and trying to, let's use the word, clear out some of the shanty towns. And I think we had several mysterious fires between the last administration and this one. Smaller and larger ones, it varied. A lot of the policies in immigration in this country have not changed since the Pinling era. Like the same issues we face. If you go back and read newspapers from like the 1970s and 80s, if you go to the Bahamas Department of Archives, it's the same damn thing all over again. It's like, and every time we talk about this topic, Dwight, it's like a broken record. You literally, you go and read an old newspaper, go read an editorial. You even find persons like Otland Bodie Jr., who was writing articles in the late 1980s. The same things we talk about today.
Yeah.
Like word for word. If I were to take an excerpt out of it and then read it off live on air, people would think I'm talking about an issue right now. But I was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Where is the seismic change we're supposed to be seeing in policy to change this, right? You see anything different, Dwight, in your time in this country from when you were a wee little boy during the times of the Pinland era? If you see any difference in policy for immigration and this issue of shanty towns, because this isn't new.
No.
The first Ingham administration spoke about this. The Pinland administration spoke about this. And here we are again.
The only difference is the speed at which news can travel from one part of the country to the other. Something can happen in Abaco, and 5 seconds later they know about it in Agua. That's it. Same stuff over and over and over and over. But oh well.
It's cyclical.
Yeah, it's frightening. Let's take some more calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Dawn.
Hi, good morning.
Welcome to Groundhog Day.
Yeah. Groundhog Century, it feels like.
A couple of points that Anton touched on. First of all, I think, if something could have been done by I'm going to get to the shanty town, but something could be done with the SBDC issue. There's something called data, data, whatever you want, that you could take an analysis of market conditions and the economic factors and utilizing the information in market size, all those things to make a determination of whether or not a business could succeed. Looking also at the comprehensive business plan. I know because when SDBC started, I was one of the advocates that we should use a database process for approvals of loans and look at how we could impact the economy in each decision that is made. But I'm only talking about 10-year-old technology. You know, all the companies we use, Facebook, Amazon, Google, and SAP, and all the rest of them, they're all data companies that the world runs on. But
yeah,
when you talk,
okay, we're scheduled to have them on this week, and can't we? I don't want to stray too far because we do want to focus on the shantytown issue. But when you're dealing with small companies, small and even medium-sized in this country, I mean, the human factor can really, really derail even the strongest data. No, I mean,
but here's what happens is, but when you have the more data you have, the stronger the position, because it's kind of like following a recipe. You can have slight variations for success, but not cooking from scratch. So once you have the data provides you the blueprint, and when you use real-time analytics, you can actually advise the businesses as they move along to variables that changes in the marketplace as well as their business condition. The problem is that most people that run business in the Bahamas runs it from the seat of their pants. The variation also for data you talk about can be taken into the fact of your show that you'll have later today. We're having arguments. We're having a discussion in the Bahamas for 30-year-old technology. How long has PayPal been around? How long has credit card been around? How long have long payments been around? We're still talking about we should be cashless businesses. We still have leadership in the Bahamas screaming that we need banks on the out islands when digitization eliminates the need for banks on the out islands, because even the smallest mom and pop store could put an app on a phone to accept payments and make payments, and money can be moved within the out islands to these small communities. But look what we talk about, and we talk about digitization of the Bahamas and digital and globally competitive. But we're talking about 15, 20-year-old technology as if there was some bright new star.
Yeah. Well.
You know, but and let's go back to the shantytown issue. Here it is that we keep ignoring the elephant in the room. First of all, when the shantytown issue, if it has any tie to immigration, we could solve this. You know, this is a conversation, and you're right, Dawn. This is a conversation that I was having 18 years I came home, when I said, simply put, we have an identification system. We deal with how people get verification for work, utilizing technology. You eliminate the carrot type environment, and you can identify everybody in the country in the instant. You can find people. You can give reward for reporting. We change the rules for immigration. We talk about the land issue. I mean, these are all simple issues that can go in Parliament and change. Just use an example. We talk the land issue, land registration. I mean, how long we've been talking about that? We talk about the Quiet Entitling Act. How long we've been talking about that? The Privy Council rule is legalized theft. I mean, it's like we have all of these small things that these guys could go into Parliament and change in a matter of days. Every major issue in this country could be fixed in legislation. The shantytown issue is a 2018 issue in 2021, in spite the fact that the court system has not closed since 2018. You know, even in the middle of COVID. Yeah. So the Parliament has met. We could have passed laws to fix any defect in the law, but when you start even talking for the housing regime, we knew this was an impending crisis. More so when we move into COVID, but the fact that we suspended certain liberties. We begged people not to evict. The banks have suspended making mortgages. I mean, these things doesn't go away, you know. These are things that we have to address. We just quietly said, nobody move, nobody get hurt. Because no one did it. As if though these mortgages is not going to start again. As if though these 15 months of not making rental payments or mortgage payments is going to simply disappear. We pretend like as if all the jobs is just going to pop up on the 23rd or 24th of August when they don't do it. But in Abaco, we have a housing crisis. 10,340 homes was damaged or destroyed between Abaco and Grand Bahama. We're not even mentioning those numbers. We have the DRA talking about, we're working on 5 homes, or we're working on 8 homes. We have thousands of people dislocated. We're having the same conversation when we talk about the voters' registration. Isn't that an overlying problem that people are not where they're supposed to be? Right. But if you stop for a moment, Dwight and Dawn, and take every single one of these little problems, I could tell you in 6 minutes how to fix every single one of them by simply going into Parliament, passing a law, and which they're supposed to do. JJ is right. Legislation, policies, and programs. That's all they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But we are not. It's like we are the most qualified and capable country in the world based on infrastructure and the 21st century, but we're having issues of 20th century problems in the 21st century environment. Why? Because we have leadership that is using 19th century concepts.
Yeah.
And but come with a solution. Dwight, do me a favor. Find out what's his name is Ferrero. Find him and ask him what is the strategy to solve the housing crisis in this country.
We've been
and
trying.
Then if the people have someplace to go, we won't have to have this conversation.
We've been trying. We got other calls, but see, Alan, I want to ask you this. Last week, are you still there? Is he gone? Oh, my boy. Okay. I wanted to ask him. I know he was paying close attention to this. The REEF report, the Revitalization and Economic Expansion of Freeport. There was a committee, and we asked the GB Chamber President about that, and he was saying they expected it was going to be handed over to the government, and it looks like it has been, but we need to talk more about that at some point. Okay, let's take these calls really quickly, then we need to take a break. Good morning, caller, you're on the air.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Dealing with the Shantytown and the judge's ruling.
Yes.
At least it was only an extension because she hasn't made a definitive ruling yet on the matter of the Shantytown demolition. And the part where she said that the government, before they destroy any homes, they need to come to the court and bring the evidence supposed to work, because a lot of people thinking it's just about Shantytown. But if you read the Building Regulations Act, you will see that because of lack of enforcement, not only with so-called Shantytown, but with other structures being built in the country for years. Simple as building a wall in the front of your home or around your home, you need a permit from the Ministry of Works. But the majority of payments don't do that, and there's no enforcement when we build walls without being permitted, or add on pieces to our homes or our businesses without getting the proper plans and the proper permits from the Ministry of Work. And all of that is a part of the Building Regulations Act. And because we focus on these words, Shantytown, but we have thousands of homes in the Providence and the rest of the Bahamas where it's not built to code with no permit. But the government, no government, is go after those. But we use the Shantytowns as this boogeyman, like this is some horrible thing, or this is something out of the ordinary. It's not out of the ordinary. Links and structures on their properties without being properly permitted. And in a democracy, I am glad, I don't always agree with Fred Smith, but I am glad that we have a person like Fred Smith who takes these matters to the court where they are supposed to be done, so that the governments of the day, because he's called, whatever government it is, he's take matters to the court. And he's been winning a lot of the cases because the governments of the day refuse to follow the law. Because just how they could come and break down what we call a Shantytown, they could come and break down my house without going to the court. So it's a good thing to go to the court. That's the reason why we have a democracy and we have a constitution. And when you feel aggrieved by anybody, you take the matters to the court. And when the court rules, then you have another court you could go to, the Court of Appeal after she ruled. Whoever loses the case, this matter probably again up to the Privy Council. So this matter could go on for a couple more years.
That's disturbing.
As far as a definitive ruling. But it's good that she required the government, just like when they used to deport people without taking them to court, and then somebody challenged them in the court. They used to do these developments without speaking with the community, approve these developments without speaking to the community, not being to the court, and the court said the government have to speak to the persons in the community where they're going to put these massive developments to get their input. That's what the courts are for, and that's the way our democracy is supposed to work.
Yeah.
But we could get mad at the court, but the court is there for anybody. And like I say, this not only affects so-called shanty towns, this affects anybody who has a building or a structure on their property, and the government can't just come and tell you break it down, and they come and break it down. You need to go to the court to get the permission.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Well, all right, a couple more, and then we'll go to the break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Okay, let's take this one. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Are you there? Nope. Okay, let's read some messages, and then we'll go. This one says here, Dwight and Don, I'm trying to understand what other evidence the judge needs. Didn't the injunction Didn't the injunction say that no new homes were to be built after Hurricane Dorian? Shouldn't the prosecutor present the injunction or videos of these new homes as evidence? It appears that they were not prepared, or that this is politics at its highest level being played out right before our eyes. Okay. This one says, watch how many more shacks go up in Abaco now. This one says here, I don't know what this word is, but anyway. So I think you're saying, so we don't need permission to build anything, so I don't want any government inspector coming to my house. I am sick of the inequity that some of us have to deal with and others don't. My question, can these people continue to build? I advise you to follow the law. Because as you know, there are different rules for different people in this country. So you need to follow the law. If you are by law required to have an inspector, you better do it. You better do it until that's changed. All right, another one here. At a minimum, those structures are not up to the building code, and if the code is law, then I don't see the issue. We should not conflate two issues of illegal housing and illegal immigrants. The Bahamas is not a real place. Well, it's a lot of different issues. This one says here, looks like the PLP leader got his wish concerning the halt of the demolition of shanty towns. The government must stop by the shanty towns, or I think you're trying to say or the shanty towns will keep expanding. Oh, to insert the politics in there, but okay. He was saying that this is probably what should be done. You need to go to the court in order to do this, wait for the matter to play out before demolishing any further homes. He had been saying that, yes. Another one here, the government just needs to adjust or implement laws to facilitate whatever needs to be done. The government has done it in the past. Okay. Well, someone says, fine, leave Abaco for now because of what happened to their homes during the hurricane. So now they start in Nassau and Andros. Well, the injunction is only for Abaco. And if they are violating the law in the rest of the country, the government has the right to do what it needs to do. This one says here, so that means people can build buildings and homes not... So that means, okay, I'm not being, here we go. That means that people can build buildings and homes not according to the building codes, and the government can't do anything about it. I say that's a stupid thing. That's not what that means. That's not what that means. No. This one says, only in the Bahamas can the government put this judge on early retirement. What about when hurricanes, what now? What's that? You're going to take that one? Yeah, let's do that. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning to all.
Hi.
You know, I'm sure. I believe that the president has been set right. It means that after any hurricane where a number of homes has been damaged, that we can all go and that folks can go out there and build homes because they have no shelter, and the government cannot afford to shelter them.
You think so? I don't know if that's what that means.
According to this president in Abaco, but and as well as this, she only says that this can only happen in Abaco, so the government don't have to go to court to demolish homes in other parts of the Bahamas. You see, so and then judge just.
And remember now, this is a temporary thing as we're preparing
and
for the
Supreme Court judges. They are political appointment anyway. Just like in the U.S. and United States, these people they could be biased if they want to. You see. And I feel that the issue in this country is that we operating a country without polling institutions. How does that happen? How could you run a country without polling institutions? You know, where do you get consensus from the people? From the media? You know, that's not censorship of the people. We need polling institutions in this country until that happens.
How would polling help here? What do you mean? How would polling help in this situation?
Yeah, so the government should know the sentiments of the people, the consensus of the people. The consensus of the media is not the consensus of the people.
Okay, nobody said it was, but I mean, how would polling work here with the shanty towns? If the people say we knock them all down,
every issue we have, like C. Allen says, that they don't go in Parliament to legislate. They go to Parliament and talk about how many people they feed on the street or how many lots they clear. They need to go to Parliament and legislate. That's what they need to do, legislate issues and legislate for the will of the people through consensus of the people by polling.
Okay. Well, there are many who will tell you that this system that we have, by the virtue they won their seat, they were elected. That is all the polling they need. That's what many will say. You don't have to agree with it. That's what they say. If you want to change that, then but I hear you. Okay. I mean, that could end very badly as well. Sometimes the people don't know what's best for them. Sometimes. The majority of people don't know. Sometimes. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back with more. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. .50, time of your first look at traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. In your real-time traffic, we are seeing, as usual this hour, the heavy traffic on Smiley Butler Highway from Fire Trail all the way up to Tonic Blooms Darling Highway. That's the northbound lanes this morning. Gladstone Road looking a little bit better for you, but still heavy as you get closer to John F. Kennedy Drive in that northbound lane there. Elsewhere, Blue Hill Road, the traffic is building, especially north of Soldier Road. The northbound lanes heading towards the roundabout with Independence Drive, and Carmichael Road eastbound to Blue Hill Road, and pockets along Blue Hill Road in the northbound lanes primarily. Elsewhere, we've got some building traffic at major intersections along Prince Charles Drive and Robinson Road, and Shirley Street near Mackey Street. You're going to be seeing traffic back to near that intersection. Actually, at multiple locations at that intersection this morning, northbound and southbound and westbound. Keep that in mind this morning. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank, banking reimagined. And time for another check of your weather for today. We've got a ridge of high pressure that continues to dominate the weather across the country and produce moderate to fresh breezes through tonight. There is a risk of rip currents along eastern and southern shorelines today. For all areas, your forecast for today calls for partly cloudy, hot, and breezy conditions with a slight chance and warm tonight. Small craft caution in effect. Hot day in store today. Look for highs getting up to around 91 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 75 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. In your extended outlook, high pressure will continue to promote warm and pleasant conditions across the country through Thursday. For tomorrow, Wednesday, we're looking at variably cloudy, warm, and breezy conditions with a few passing showers. Thursday, partly sunny, warm, and breezy with chance of a few stray showers, mainly in the southeast Bahamas. In the tropics, we're still watching that area of low pressure expected to develop over the southwestern Caribbean Sea by tomorrow or Thursday. Some gradual development will be possible while the system moves slowly south or northwestward towards Central America. And there is now a 30% chance of formation from the system over the next 5 days. So we'll keep an eye on that for you, but no threat to the Bahamas at all. That is your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Rev Cable Bahamas. Rev, you and us together.
BT BTC is elevating the Bahamas with our super fast fiber internet experience. More people in more places can enjoy the best home connection starting with 100 megabit speeds. With over $6.5 million invested, our network grows stronger each day, delivering the best home internet for all your needs. Call us at 242-225-5282. Visit btcbahamas.com or any retail store to upgrade to the super fast fiber internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
Digital banking, online, RBC. RBC banking, online, pay your bills anytime.
RBC Digital Banking is so easy. Granny and Granddad can do it. Sign up for online banking or download the RBC Caribbean app.
With RBC, it's safe and easy. Send your money hassle-free. RBC.
Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/bank at home. RBC Royal Bank. Banking reimagined.
Stay a step ahead of technology with certainty and support from Custom Computers. Our know-in on your next big tech purchase, finding solutions that take your productivity to the next level using only the best and most reliable brands. With 4 stores all across Nassau on East Bay, West Bay, Old Fort Bay, and Palmdale, there's no stopping you from stepping up your tech. Reach out to us at 396-1100. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Oh, yeah. All right. My beautiful islands. I tell you, if the good Lord never goes on holiday, tell me why he made the Bahamas. If the good Lord never used to come this way, tell me why.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Don Sargent. We are getting a reaction to this ruling in the Supreme Court, extending that injunction to all of Abaco to stop the demolition of shanty towns there until there is a ruling on the matter that has been before the Supreme Court for quite a while now, but this does not apply outside of Abaco. To all of this, someone here, we've got a lot of text messages to get to saying, boy, the shantytown thing is amazing. The judge says she was considering the human element, but the same judges don't blink twice when finding someone for breaking curfew or getting water. I wonder how they decide when the human element matters. Yikes. Okay. Some other things there. We'll get back to that. This one here. The ruling of the court is troubling. The government should be able to carry out the laws in the Bahamas. If any building is built in contravention of the laws of the Bahamas, wherever it is or whomever resides in it, that building should be demolished. Whenever one breaks the law, one should be prepared to suffer the penalty, even if that means one has to sleep on the street because of your lawlessness. Well, she's saying, come back to the court if you want to do that in Abaco until the matter is resolved. Come back to the court. All right. Another one here. So did the court put in place that people should cease building in over the next 3 months? She had said that before. They had said that before. So, and this is what the government was trying to say, that these were new. These weren't the old ones from before. But here we are. There's more to their text. They say, so I guess it's a free-for-all for these people. This country now belongs to the Haitians. Now you're being a bit extreme. Yeah, that's not, well, okay. And they go on to say, that's what you get for the love of money while playing Christian. And they say, I hope you read my text because I am not politically correct. And now they're saying that the lawyers want to drag this out in court. So I'm editing here. Okay. All right. Wow. This one says, no wonder the Haitians come here and do what they want. Why don't they go to the Dominican Republic and build shanty towns? Well, okay. I don't know that they don't. I don't know. But I know there's an interesting article in today's Nassau Guardian about Haitians in Mexico. And you should read that. This one says here, same old. I am 57, and no one would listen to Loftus Roker 40 years ago. McCartney, I think John Branville McCartney, was the only one who put his foot down as immigration minister, and he was, of course, removed due to ruffling too many feathers. This one says, I don't think this is Groundhog Day. Pilling One says, farm work and collecting garbage is Haitian. What now? Did he really? Okay. Well, yikes. Okay. Dwight, all the government has to do as of today is to go to the court and prove their case and that these houses were built unlawfully, and that's that simple. Perhaps.
I think it's past that point, isn't it? To the point where we're doing a judicial review. So this is like out of the hands of...
Nope, she's saying that you have to come to the court. You have to come to the court if you seek to remove something. And maybe they have a valid reason. But you just can't decide to do it on your own, especially while this is going on before the court.
Oh, yeah.
So,
but I was meaning in terms of, like, there isn't much arguing going on right now. Isn't it up for judicial review? Or at least arguing from... And I will say, I don't know.
Yeah, if you have a strong case, if there's a reason for something to be gone, go to the court and make an application. Right? So, all is not lost entirely if you feel all is lost. If you feel that way. Okay, we're going to break for news and be back with more on this and more on what else is making news on this Tuesday morning. Stay with me.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-4796. And now at 8:18, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Here's what's happening. We've got a ridge of high pressure that continues to dominate the weather and produce moderate to fresh breezes through tonight. There is a risk of rip currents, though, especially along eastern and southern shorelines. For all areas today, your forecast calls for partly cloudy, hot, and breezy conditions with a slight chance of a few passing showers, turning mostly fair and warm tonight. Small craft caution remains in effect for boaters. Temperature-wise today, look for highs getting up to around 91 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 75 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. We're at 81 right now under partly cloudy skies in Nassau. In your extended outlook, high pressure will continue to promote warm and pleasant conditions across the country through Thursday. For tomorrow, Wednesday, look for variably cloudy, warm, and breezy conditions with a few passing showers. Thursday, partly sunny, warm, and a bit breezy with a chance of a few stray showers, mainly in the southeast Bahamas. In the tropics, we are watching an area of low pressure expected to develop over the southwestern Caribbean Sea by tomorrow or Thursday, and some gradual development will be possible after that time while the system moves slowly northwestward towards Central America. There's about a 30% chance of formation through the next 5 days. Again, no threat to the Bahamas. But that is your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. What's first for you comes first for us. And at 8:20, time for another check of your traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank. We've got heavy traffic on Smother Highway. That's heavy from Fire Trail all the way up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway. The northbound lanes there, the traffic's backed up as well on Fire Trail. That's eastbound on Fire Trail roundabout. And so that's extending south northbound again on Smother Highway. So keep that in mind. Gladstone Road looking a little bit better for you, but still heavy the closer you get to JFK Drive in that northbound lane there. Blue Hill Road also busy this morning, especially north of Soldier Road, northbound lane to Independence Drive, and East Street South, the northbound lanes as you head north toward Independence Drive and the east-west highway roundabout. Soldier Road also backed up a bit, heading east towards the intersection with East Street. And we've got some traffic on West Bay Street if you're heading east near Saunders Beach. You're going to be seeing some heavy traffic as you get to that roundabout with New Providence Highway. Elsewhere, Eastern Road, westbound lanes, busy. From east of Fox Hill up to Johnson Road and pockets along Prince Charles Drive, the major intersections this morning. Those are your hottest spots. It's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC Royal Bank, banking reimagined.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
You know I got your number all night. I'm always on your team, I got your back, alright. Taking those losses if it treats you right. I wanna put you into the spotlight. If the world would only know what you've been holding back. Heart attacks every night. Oh, yeah, we'll follow you way down, wherever you may go. I'll follow you way down to your deepest low. I'll always be around, wherever life takes you. You know I'll follow you. Call you up, you've been crying all night. You're only disappointed in yourself.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Don Sargent on this Tuesday morning. We are talking about what's in the news, and this text here, Dwight had just tuned in, heard shanty towns are put on hold. Tell me my house if I add on without a permit. Town planning and the Ministry of Works can't come and break it down, and instead put me in court. Again, as I said earlier, you're just tuning in. Whatever you were not allowed to do, according to the law, you're still not allowed to do. So follow the law. Follow the law. They've got a unique situation in Abaco, and that's what the ruling is saying. Until we solve that matter, you have to come to the court, government, if you want to demolish anything there. But for now, we'll maintain the status quo until we resolve this matter, which we're told should be resolved within the next 3 months. It's been going on a long time, but we will see. But yeah. Let's not be hasty here, folks. Do what you're supposed to do, and don't do what you're not supposed to do. Unless you're at Abaco. Okay, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-425. Now we're still getting a reaction to this. A lot of text messages to get to as well. Let's read some of these. It's our lawmakers who refuse to enact laws to prevent people from building on property that is not theirs and fine them up to $10,000. This one says, if these shanty towns were on Life or Key or Paradise Island, it would be a totally different thing, different ruling. Well, perhaps. Another one here. In regards to the injunction extension across the Abacos, it strikes another blow to the hearts and minds of law-abiding citizens. It seems that anyone can squat on a property, build a home, and then take the government to court when it tries to enforce the laws. That ruling yesterday may be the top of a slope that will keep us sliding into the abyss of lawlessness. Well, it's just... it is until there is the ruling. Right? The injunction until there is a ruling. While this matter is before the court, let's not do anything unless you have real evidence and you have to come to the court to prove that something has to be done about this structure. So not quite the end of the world yet, but yeah. All right. Someone says, it seems as if I'm looking at American-style politics in the Bahamas when when good people go bad following one man, there are many in this government who don't see anything wrong that the prime minister's doing. Now, where is this coming from? Is this related to what we're talking about here? What is?
Wait, hold on here now. What?
I don't know.
That's not Americans. That's always been our politics. Anyway.
That's a human trait. But okay, I don't know what's happening here. I'm not going to read the rest of that. I think it's related to what we're talking about. Someone says, please break the law. Who will stop you? Okay. Well, like I say, if you're not an Abaco, and certain people can do it, but we'll read about you in the news. I'll read about you soon. Do it. Yeah.
I don't know, Dwight. I don't know, man, because we're not talking nobody business. It happens far more frequently than you think.
Oh, I'm sure, but you won't be the lucky one. That's how it is. That's just how.
I know people who've done it who are extraordinarily well connected.
Yeah. And if you have to ask or suggest it or wonder, that means you're not. So don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah, those people don't even ask. You think I could do this? Because they just do it. All right. So don't do it. Let's take these calls. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Morning, Dawn.
Hi. Good morning.
I spent the entire morning listening to the commentaries of persons calling in as well as text. Here's the concerns that I have. One thing that stuck out with me is a statement that Anton had made earlier, where apparently this immigration matter has been tossed about as a political football, in particular with this current administration. I'm going to tell you, had successive governments dealt with this matter in the manner that they should have, because the laws are there, the enforcement aspect of it has not been apparently encouraged. But had the lawmakers done what they were supposed to do, this matter would not even have gotten this far, even as far as this court injunction and all this stuff is concerned. And for lawful Bahamians, organic Bahamians in this country, to be placed under strict laws, we have to follow the letter of the law because we know the repercussions. However, we see others that come here breach the laws, do what they want to do, and then be given either a slap on the wrist or even given a carte blanche to continue doing what they do until the courts decide what it is that they're going to do. It does not smell good in the public domain. And we have to be very succinct about this. We have to be very sincere about this, and we have to be very forthright with this matter, Dwight. One point. Until we move immigration off the political platform and really deal with these aspects, seeing that we're dealing with immigration this morning, but until we deal with our laws and give the teeth that each one of our laws apparently have, and everyone is subjected to, equally across the board, to be subjected to the laws. That goes from the politician up top, who we suspect has been engrossed into so many of these atrocities. This is why we can't get any results. Right down to the clergyman, right down to the person on the bottom, such as the middle class and the low class, until everybody's subjected to these laws equally. Nothing is going to change in this town. I applaud, and I'm going on record, I applaud Minister Bannister and everything that this government has attempted to do in terms of immigration. I applaud them for at least the effort of trying to bring this thing to a close. I thank you for taking my call this morning.
All right. Thank you very much. Interesting. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, Dwight, can I speak on your show?
Oh, Dave, are you going to be, because every time we give you another chance, it comes back. Okay. Let's hear what you have to say. What is wrong with me? I never learned. Okay, let's hear this. Mm-hmm.
The immigration issue was resolved after Hurricane Dorian. Ellsworth Johnson and Daniel Field need to be dragged before the court and explain the judge followed the law. The air for them got on this country. Hello?
We're listening.
Mr. Strachan.
Yes.
What happened in the court, that was a ruling for all Bahamians to forget the Haitians, to follow the law of the land. Stop trying to go to the court and strong arm the court. Daniel Field and Ellsworth Johnson need to be dragged before the court and explain how those people were allowed to build back there. That makes sense to you?
I'm listening to you. Yep. Okay. Don, does that make sense to you?
Was he saying that Ellsworth Johnson and Diane Elfman need to go to the courts and explain?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sure, I guess.
But probably all the ministers and all the MPs for Abaco ever, too, maybe.
I was just gonna say I don't know if it would change anything. I don't know. I don't want to be the Debbie Downer, but mark my words, we're going to be having this conversation again under the next administration. I guarantee it.
Okay.
The same issues in immigration and shanty towns and all this is going to come up again. I remember very freshly in my mind this under the last administration or the last Ingram administration. It's not even a political football. It's a bucket, that old rolling down the street, and hopefully somebody will pick it up and try to catch water with it, right? And the more it tumbles down for years, the more rickety and more holes it gets in it. And here we are with this rickety bucket trying to solve a problem that's basically 40-something years in the making. And it isn't just a problem, again, with immigration. It's also a problem with housing. Because the housing situation in this country sucks. It's if you cannot buy your own house or afford to rent an apartment for the rest of your life, you're homeless.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
Or hope someone in your family can take care of you with some situation like that. And you find it more that most developed nations recognize that housing is a major issue because it's one of the largest expenses that people have in their lives. And it's one of the drivers of wealth accumulation. It's one of the drivers of economic activity because if your basic needs aren't, figured out, you're not going to be doing much else in your life. And you find that countries that suffer from these sorts of problems of high rates of crime, blah, 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 blah. We've heard all these stories before. There's enough data and research that points to this being an issue. But again, like I said, we're going to point and blame every administration when they're in office, whichever was not a part of whichever team you root for. Then when the next administration gets into power, and then the same immigration things that have been happening in the previous administrations before them, you see happening again, you're going to go dead silent on it because it's your guy who's in charge now, or your party that's in charge, and you're going to turn a blind eye. And someone else is going to point at your party and say, look, they're doing the same thing all over again. And then we're going to come right back here, Dwight, and say, oh, look, it's Groundhog Day.
Well, we've been doing it for almost 10 years on this show, so of course I don't expect anything to change.
Yes, for as long as I've been on Guardian, Dwight, this conversation has come up.
From long, probably before any of us were born, you and me. All right, so this texter here, this is the one who's telling you to go and do what you got to do. They say, don't listen to Dwight. You will never get yours. Break the law. It's a slack country. Every nationality. Don't listen to Dwight. Don't tell us what to do. I will start running ads on your show telling Bahamians to get theirs. Sorry, Dwight, but it's people like you who are so passive and always never wanting to rock the boat. Oh, really? Okay. This is why we're in this mess, but I still respect you. Okay.
You know, Dwight, the texter, I don't want to say that with point, but I kind of do. Because remember, we were talking before, I think it was a few years back, about the issue of property taxes, right? And people are paying them. And then, of course, the government gave the discount, a 50% discount. And people are saying, oh, great, I don't pay property taxes anyway. Oh,
yeah, but that was hurtful to the people who pay it on time. Absolutely.
I mean, don't forget too. Under the Christie administration, they also had a what's it called again? I don't have tax holidays, right word, but a property tax forgiveness that wipe out. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with all these things. You have some people anyway. There's varying circumstances that bring people to the positions that they're in. I think it should be on a case by case basis. It shouldn't anyway. That's a whole other conversation for another day. But unfortunately, though, Dwight. If one thing we've learned in the Bahamas is that it's only illegal if you broke. Right? If you're rich enough and you work in the right industry, you can lobby the government and have your business legitimized through legislation. And then afterwards, you can have a moratorium put on it. So only you and your brethren that was already in there could stay in there. And a lot of broke Bahamians who complain about this illegal and that illegal, they weren't because they broke.
Well, that's the Bahamian way. Yeah,
of course.
But I just want to warn people about that. That I'm sure that texter is a lawyer and probably doing this to get business. So watch yourselves if you're going to listen to him.
I don't recommend.
Yeah, don't do it. He just wants your business. Okay. Anyway, according to this ruling, it'll make you understand why Bahamians don't their country, from crime to throwing garbage all over the place. but it's the media's responsibility to call out the courts on its discrimination on black Bahamians. We all know its ruling is to please foreign white people. Well, again, let's see what happens with the substantive ruling, right? This is just an injunction for now until there is the ruling. And of course, if it goes the way many of you suspect it will, but then, yes, all heck will break loose in this country. I guarantee you there's going to be massive consequences depending on what comes out of that ruling. For now, let's just calm down, everybody. This is to stop things from going like the wild, wild west. Come to the court to prove why we need to demolish this place. If this is, show us the reasons for this. Otherwise, you just can't, in the middle of the day, just smash down something. All right? We don't have to like the ruling, but that's right, trying to be fair and balanced and decent. Decent. Yes, the people might not have been decent who put these things up wherever, whatever. Yes, sure. But the government is supposed to be better than that, supposedly. Right. So that's all I'm saying. It's not the end of the world yet.
Even if they get a ruling against it, can the government just enact legislation about this?
About which part?
Like, if you want to do this whole thing about illegal housing, do you guys just create a new law? Isn't that always an option?
We've got a lot of
rather
laws.
than trying to operate through the existing legal framework, which may be inadequate.
They will have to do something. We got that's what they're saying now, that these are in violation of the law. But
So yeah, I just don't
interpretation
understand. Like, they said the same thing about the situation with citizenship in the Constitution, and many have argued, you can just change the law, fix the problem. Anyway, whatever.
Whatever comes out of this ruling will determine a lot of things. Let's take some final calls on this. I do want to move on to another issue. But caller, good morning. You're on the air.
You doing, sir?
Doing well.
Good. And to your guest. The importance of the rule of law with these principles is self-evident. In our system, it's the foundation of governance. Under the rule of law, citizens can live and work safely. They will not be subject to arbitrary government and are protected against any abuse of power by the state. So the ruling by the honorable magistrate or justice, in my humble opinion, is according to the rule of law. No one, not even the government, should be allowed to break the law. Where you see, no one should be allowed to take the law into their own hands. And so I am in move to demolish illegal shanty towns. What I am against is going against the court, or if there's an injunction or something in the courts, you wait until the court ruling. See, the court is separate and apart from the government, and the government should not be allowed to interfere with the duties of the court. Okay. Likewise, the public, and being arbitrary to the law. Good day.
All right. It's all a matter of interpretation. Remember now, the government was saying that these were new structures that were built and that the injunction before covered new buildings. Right? So they felt they were within the law to demolish those. What the judge is saying is that come to the court first before you demolish. Right? Come to the court first. Okay. We got some interesting tweets here. Someone says, these people didn't buy property. They're building on government land. This ruling ties the government's hands, but allows the illegal building to continue. It interferes with the responsibility of the government to preserve law and order. Houses are cropping up daily. And that's from one of our listeners in Apico. The judge ruled that no new construction was to take place. The houses being removed are newly constructed. The judge is now protecting them. Bahamian Abaco had their home taken down last week. Is this justice? Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Caller, good morning.
Hey, Dwight, am I able to make...
Good morning.
Oh, what just happened? Okay, hi, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, how are you doing?
Doing well.
Good morning, Don. I might get stoned this morning, but I think I kind of agree with Dave a little bit this morning. One day after the hurricane, I was in Abaco to help assist with evacuation. And I can tell you there wasn't a single structure left standing in Marshall area that wasn't completely stone structure.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was flat. So how were 200 plus homes allowed to be built? I'm not just talking Marshall, I'm talking the farm area, all of the other areas. All those flat. So 200 plus structures was allowed to be built. So, like I think one of your texts said, these are new structures being built since the hurricane. So the injunction does cover no new buildings. I think the government does have the right to do that. But another point I think is this thing about, I think we conflate a lot of issues, and one is the lack of housing for the Bahamas with shanty towns. Those are two completely different issues. The thing with a shanty town is that's an immigration and a town planning issue. When persons come in to apply or get a work permit, the immigration is supposed to ensure that the people who employ these persons go and are providing shelter for these people when they come in. And town planning, whenever there's a structure being built, there are plenty of Bamans that complain and go to town planning about structures being built, and town planning does nothing about them. So those two departments have a problem with that.
All right. Well, I mean, maybe in the Bahamas, shantytown is an immigration term, right? But shantytown doesn't mean it's only immigrants. Doesn't mean that at all.
Well, I wouldn't agree either, because Gotti just did a story on this. There were Bahamians who built homes in shanty towns.
Oh, one at a time.
Shanty towns. So it is a housing issue, and many of them have said because divorce and talked to us, so people said they couldn't afford housing. This is why they built the houses where they do. And they said some of it's on private land, and they pay somebody $100 or $200 a month or whatever the situation is. So it is.
So you're saying that the Bahamians routinely go and build on land that doesn't belong to them?
Am I saying? I can't hear him.
Yeah, you're very muffled. I don't know what's happened.
Are you saying that Bahamians go and routinely build on land that doesn't belong to them?
Bahamians have, yes.
Structures that do not comply with the laws of the Bahamas.
I don't know if routinely is the right word, but I'm sure it happens, and it has happened. But what are you saying? Only
it has happened based on what?
Well, we know that there are Bahamians. We know that there are Bahamians in the shanty towns. We know that there are.
Let's put the last point in here then. Since we go on this way, the central bank says that Haiti receives between $40 to $50 million a year. A lot of that is in small contributions from the Bahamas. So if it is a housing issue, then we can't say that these people can't afford to rent. If they are willing to pay for proper rental space, then I'm sure persons will build them. So it can't be just, well, they can just do what they want because.
But see, that highlights another problem. Is like the only housing that's available in the Bahamas period is private housing, right? And the only way in order for someone to build private housing is they have to go to the bank. More than likely if they don't have the land already, which then creates this issue which we have in the Providence where you find that rental prices just keep skyrocketing. Because more people live in Nassau because of hurricanes. Now, again, I'm not disagreeing with you on issues of immigration. I'm just saying it's a very compounded issue.
More people live in Nassau because this is the central concept.
Well, we also haven't really developed much of the Family Islands. And after hurricanes, people come here.
Okay, all right. I think...
I can barely hear what he's saying.
Yeah,
He has a point. I'm just saying it's just a bit more complex. That's all I'm saying.
It's a lot more, and then you jump into a lot of conclusions, and the money being sent out of the country. How certain are you that these are the same people who live in the shanty towns, right? So there's a lot of conclusions being jumped to there. And I don't know if that's helpful in this discussion. But, we have to do something about it. This is not the look we want for the country. This is not safe in many regards. It does not meet the building codes. People are living in squalid conditions. We don't need this, right? And whether they are Bahamians or not, this isn't acceptable. This cannot continue, right? There's no reason for this to be like this. We can do better. I think we can all agree on that. How we're going to do that? Now that's where we need to work together and figure out how it's going to work. We are running out of time. I got to take one final call, and then we got to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hello?
Hi, good morning.
Yes. Tell me something. You see one part in the court statement that they say that the government got to have proof of these people building illegally or something.
The government would need to come back to the court if they want to demolish to prove.
All right. Let me show you where the proof is. The proof is the people don't have work building permit. You can't have no more proof than that. Most every home has a building permit recorded in our office somewhere. So if you don't have that building permit recorded somewhere, that's the proof that you're building illegally. And the next thing is building government, I blame the Attorney General for that. They should have taken these people to court first and let the court rule that the house be destroyed. And that's what would have happened if you take the people to court for building without work permit. Because what you try to do, you try to pass sentence on these people without due process.
Obviously, it's not that simple because there wouldn't have been any of these structures.
Yeah, it is.
So it sounds like it should be, but obviously this is why we haven't had this matter resolved in Abaco since
if you
that
go
time.
and steal something from a shop, what they do, they arrest you and take you to court. Because you break the law. So if you break the law by building without a work permit, they should take you to court first. Not just pass sentence on you and break down your house. You should go to court. Because that's the same reason why we were sending magistrates to now instead of deporting people back home. We're letting them have that due process first. And everybody is due to that. Once you enter the Bahamas, you're still protected by law already. You're a citizen, not say you should go to court and have due process. Let the government just pass sentence on you breaking down your house. Let the courts pass that sentence.
Well, that's what the ruling is saying. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. All right. Let's take that break. And when we come back, we want to talk a little bit about, we got to talk about COVID a little bit there. And the CDC lowering the Bahamas travel advisory. We're going to get into all of that after the break. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
I will follow you way down, wherever you may go. I'll follow you way down to your deepest low. I'll always be around, wherever life takes you. You know I'll follow you.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your finance? At CFAO, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAO, growing wealth for future generations.
BTC is elevating the Bahamas with our super-fast fiber internet experience. More people in more places can enjoy the best home connection starting with 100 megabit speeds. With over $6.5 million invested, our network grows stronger each day, delivering the best home internet for all your needs. Call us at 242-225-5282. Visit btcbahamas.com or any retail store to upgrade to the super-fast fiber internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
RBC has been growing with the Bahamas for over 110 years with new ways to bank better. We are committed to deepening our relationship with existing clients and forging new ones in the future with new products and services and investment in the community, youth, and education initiatives. We are here to help you grow.
We're here to help you flourish. We're RBC.
RBC Royal Bank. Banking reimagined.
It just got easier. Say hello to more with our new Liberty Prime plan. With more minutes, more texts, and more data to do the things you love right here at home and even when you travel. With the all-new Liberty Prime, Liberty Premium, and Liberty Elite, you've got one less worry. Roam again. Alive. Believe in best.
Believe in best.
Travel less, but vacation more by indulging yourself and your family with the ultimate staycation getaway at Atlantis. Sleep in, relax, play, go out. Say yes to a fantastic staycation in your very own paradise just over the bridge. For reservations, call 363-6483 or visit Atlantis Local on Facebook for details.
Go cashless with CIBC First Caribbean. Never give out your credit or debit card personal information over the phone unless you initiated the call and you have verified that you're dealing with a reputable merchant. Visit CIBCFCIB.com for more information. Go cashless with CIBC First Caribbean.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Back to the island, boy. Let's go. Wake up early one morning, kiss my mama goodbye. Going back to the island, I say, don't worry, mama, don't cry. I'll be leaving on the Alice Mabel.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with Don Sargent. This text here before we move on to another issue. We all want shantytowns demolished in one day, but I believe that going through the courts is the safest and trusted approach. We should convene a separate court just for these cases. Additionally, the government should also invest much more effort in the repatriation of illegal migrants and protecting our borders. Doing these should reduce shantytown dwellers. Government must be creative, able to multitask, and not be lazy. All right. And this one here, Don, it's not a bucket, it's a wheelbarrow that most of us are complicit in pushing. The slumlords, the behemoths that turn a blind eye, the government employees that take money under the table, and the politicians that use it for political advancement. Drag all of us before the courts based on what Dave was saying earlier, Dave's logic, okay? Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people that would need to be held to account. All right, so
welcome up.
Well, okay. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot more said about this throughout the day.
It should be. Before we go, it should be that way. That we shouldn't care about your stature or position in life. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Seeing that you could take bribes, to buy generators for BPL and walk scot-free.
What?
But anyway.
Okay. All right. So. Just in time for home porting, and then what we're hearing, more cruises coming, and we'll be sailing from Nassau. The CDC has lowered the Bahamas' travel advisory. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention moving the Bahamas from a level 4 travel health notice to a less serious level 3, moving us back down there. In April, the CDC advised travelers to avoid travel to the Bahamas, but in its latest notice, advised visit the country to ensure that they are fully vaccinated. The CDC says that there's still a high level of COVID-19 in the Bahamas, but the tourism minister is saying that this is fantastic news. He says, quote, that bodes extremely well for tourism. If you speak to anyone in the hotel industry, one area that has not done well is group travelers who are wary. Hopefully this will give a boost to that. It'll give additional impetus to the recreational travelers to come to the country. All right, now the CDC is still recommending that unvaccinated travelers avoid non-essential travel to the Bahamas, and so that due to the current situation in the country, all travelers may be at risk for getting and spreading the virus. All. However, the CDC noted that its update to its travel health notices was done to better differentiate countries with severe outbreak situations from countries with sustained but controlled COVID-19 spread. And while the number of new COVID cases has declined in recent weeks, the Bahamas has surpassed 12,000 recorded cases in total since the start of the pandemic. And And as we discussed briefly yesterday, in May, there were 1,345 new cases compared to 1,262 in April and 623 in March. But confirmed cases have been trending downward in recent weeks. All right. So that's not bad news. That's good news there. And if you were listening yesterday, we were talking about, and the countdown is on to Adventure of the Seas, the Royal Caribbean cruise ship that's going to be sailing from Nassau, expected to arrive here by tomorrow and set sail from Nassau on Saturday during this home port experiment initiative. Are we ready? We've been asking this for weeks. Are we ready? What are we doing differently? Is downtown ready for this? Is the island, the country? Some of these are going to be sailing to other ports within the country. Crystal Cruises says they're going to be doing that. We ready? We spruced up? Did we have anything exciting to show and to offer?
Are we doing isn't there supposedly talks about, I think, a cruise port or something in Spanish Wells?
Yeah, they decided to go to Spanish Wells as opposed to Harbor Island. Harbor Island says that they don't want that kind of business there. So this is happening. But what's new? We keep asking. What's new and what's different? What's better? Still can't get an answer. We're still trying to figure out if the straw market is going to be open. Still unclear about that. So what do we have down to? Well, anyway. All right, let's hear what you have to say. The phone lines are lit up. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. When these people come, what are they going to be doing? Let's take some calls. Caller, good morning. You are on the air. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Morning, Glenn.
Hi, yes. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Doing well.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm trying to figure out which count is this. The Attorney General. This is how many cases he's lost now in 3 years. What has happened is that I try to figure out if the cabinet does their job very thorough or not. Because here it is. It seems as if the position that they took was just a political one, and now here is the consequences.
There's no ruling yet. This is just for the time being.
Yes. Well, the way I see it is like the judge has made a decision. It causes the United Nations, whatever the decision that they were going to make. Well, it shows that the judicial system.
What decision the United Nations? What are you talking about? What could they do?
Well, the United Nations came and they viewed what they viewed. They got the impression that they got, but
it doesn't matter what impression they got. It doesn't matter at all. They just were observing, and that's what they do. But this is just.
But legally, we have got our position from our judicial system. And I would think that carries some gravity, you know.
Well, people in the Bahamas were also saying, don't knock down these buildings before you go to the court. So the judge has not said anything that many Bahamians weren't saying before as well.
So tell me, why is our government so reckless?
They thought they were doing the right thing. The law is up for interpretation. They thought they were following the law. The law says this does not apply to new structures in these shanty towns, and they were demolishing what they believed were new structures.
So do you think it's time to change the Attorney General?
Because of this? I mean, there might be reasons to do it, but I don't know. We've not lost this. There's no case has been lost yet. Not in this regard. Not in this regard.
Anyway, morning, Glenn. One thing with you, I would love to be at Young Mercy because I can get saved.
So you hope. Okay. What do we? Did that? No, not that one. Nope. Okay. All right. So nobody wants to talk about COVID or home porting. Okay. Well, there you go. There you go, Don. Hey, Don. Hope you have a great day. I'll talk with you again next week.
Yes. It's going to be great.
All right. Stay tuned, folks. In Morning About Business, we're going to be talking about the ease of doing business here and more companies that are going cashless, what this means for you if you aren't cashless yet. And we're going to get a success story as well. Somebody who's been thriving, a company that's been thriving during this pandemic and has a bright future ahead of it. We're going to be talking with Bahama Eats. So stay with us, a lot to get to after the news.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of the new way. You know that it's there. It's the start of the end of the old way.
This is Guardian 0.9 FM, SO Bahamas. Is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday, June 8th, 2021. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Today, we are going to be talking about a number of exciting issues, including the companies, more and more companies going cashless. Are you ready for this transition? And why not? We're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be hearing the success story of a local company that has a very bright future ahead of it, Bahama Eats. And let's get into it this morning. Very pleased to welcome from Bahama Eats, Gershwin Green, and from Island Pay, Managing Director Jeffrey Beckles. Gentlemen, great to have you with us this morning.
Good morning. Good to be here, Dwight. Good morning, Bahamas. Morning, Gershwin.
Good morning. Good morning. Good to be here.
All right. So a lot to get to. So let's begin with you, Jeff. For those who aren't familiar, tell us about Island Pay, and then we'll get to the Bahama Eats story, which is pretty amazing. And then we'll talk about going cashless and all the things that we're seeing right now and what the future holds. But let's begin with Island Pay for those who aren't familiar.
Well, thank you. Good morning again, and great to be with you as always. And Island Pay, good morning to our hardworking staff there at our office and to many wallet holders. Island Pay is the leading digital payment solution provider here in the Bahamas, providing payment services to more than 22,000 local wallet holders. Number of merchants here in the Bahamas to really provide access to digital wallets, digital payments, and to allow particularly the unbanked, the underbanked access to those financial instruments that would have typically been left out of the traditional banking system. And so we are very, very proud to be in this space. We have a good, strong team of Bahamians who have been working very diligently to make this happen. We're happy this week to also speak to the role that we're playing in helping small businesses develop and become an integrated part of our local and regional global commerce sector. We've been working very diligently with the team at Central Bank and the SandDollar integration. And one of the great things about our wallets is that when you do download our wallet, you don't need to apply for a SandDollar account because that SandDollar account is already integrated into your wallet. So our aim is to provide increased usability for our consumers to where our digital wallets will become a functional part of everyday life. Where they could receive payments, make payments, withdraw cash. We're the only ones in the group right now with the ability for consumers to withdraw cash from our kiosks, deposit cash to our kiosks, an array of top-up services that we will talk about later on in this. But Island Pay has been pleased to be on the front end of the development and working with all of our stakeholders locally and regionally to make sure that the Bahamas' footprint in terms of the pace of our digital transformation is one that will keep us connected to a very rapidly changing global commerce space.
Yeah. Exciting stuff. Okay, we're going to get more into that. But Gershwin Green, tell us about Bahama Eats. Many people first heard about the company last year during the pandemic, but you've been around before that, though. Is that right?
Yes. First of all, good morning to you and good morning to the Bahamas. Bahama Eats, we're an on-demand food and beverage delivery company. We were one of the first delivery companies to exist here in the Bahamas. Basically, from our user-friendly mobile app, users are able to order what they want and pay for it in a cashless way directly in the app and have it delivered to them within minutes. Definitely, we have revolutionized this space, and we're excited about the future.
All right, so how did it come about? What was the idea behind it? And tell us about the genesis there.
Yes, so my partner, Saran Carey, and I, we started Bahama Eats around 2019. We had a soft launch summer 2019. And the idea just became, we're both college students in the States. Well, we were college students in the States. And we saw that it was so easy for us to get food delivered overseas. And we thought, wow, this would be a really great initiative if we could bring this back home to the Bahamas. And we just knew from day one that the market would really be responsive to it and they would love it. So we started working on it, I believe, in 2018. And we did a soft launch 2019. And obviously we got a little boost with the pandemic in March of 2020.
All right, so take us back to before the pandemic. I mean, was the market as receptive then as you had hoped?
Yes, so the market from customers really embraced us from day one. We did have a little bit of challenges with some restaurants, working with them, trying to get them on board with our vision. But from day one, customers were using the app every single day. We were only restaurants at the time, and we were delivering up to 20 to 25 orders a day and what's not. So from day one, customers have been really receptive to it. And it's been growing ever since.
All right. So what changed with the pandemic? How did you shift, and when did you realize, okay, this is our time now?
Yeah. So with the pandemic, we knew that it would be, is a necessity to get stuff delivered instead of just a just a luxury. It became really a necessity in the country. So we, just prepared, hunkered down. Demand grew, and we had to prepare our systems for all the new changes that occurred. For example, we had to transition to onboarding grocery stores and pharmaceutical stores. That was something that was in our vision, about 2 to 3 years out. But we had to bring that into fruition within like 2 to 3 months.
Wow.
So all of these things helped us to rapidly develop our system and rapidly advance our systems as well. So the pandemic has really forced us, not just us, but the entire Bahamas, into really embracing the digital lifestyle and what these technology platforms can do for us.
Yeah.
I think you said something very interesting in that the onset of a post-Dorian and now post-COVID environment really exposed some challenges, yes, but it also exposed some gaps that we can have some opportunities are being created. And I think what Gershwin is speaking to very much summarizes the need for us to begin to work together and see what are the opportunities coming out of this post-COVID environment. And, food delivery was going to be a thing was oncoming, and that's where we were able to, as an Island Pay, say, you know what? Yes, they're going to need some other components, and they're going to need to figure out how to get their clients to pay. And that's where we started this conversation about how do we join together? How do we provide a payment solution as they are now providing a food delivery solution? How do we put these two together to make it convenient for the customer, safe, and secure from an operational standpoint and also from the consumer standpoint. They get to order online, they get to pay online, and they, at the end of the day, they get the services that they asked for.
Yeah. So initially, what was the reaction to that, though? We know that we still have some people who are, if it's not cash, we're not doing it. So what was that like for some of those people who realized that Bahamis was not going to be the app for you, I guess?
Well, we have been cashless, I believe, from day one as well. Customers have been embracing that option.
Okay.
In addition to using your credit or debit card, we offer a wide variety of payment gateways that customers can select from. So Island Pay obviously is one of them. But we also integrated PayPal, for example, that has been widely popular in the local market as well. So from day one, we have been cashless, and we really want to be cashless, not just because of the convenience, but also because of the safety. We didn't want our drivers on the road with cash, leaving them bucks or anything like that. So we have really made it our mission to try be as cashless or cashless in general from day one.
Mm-hmm.
And the partnership with Island Pay provides several things. And he mentioned other means of payment. But to be able to provide a localized solution enables the consumer to make that payment at a much lower cost to both Bahama Eats and to the consumer. So Island Pay provides not just an alternative payment solution, but a more cost-effective payment solution to some of these alternatives. And I think that is where Bahamian entities working together on the collaborative efforts, right, with a view that our customers here in the Bahamas need specific solutions. And how do we create this discussion where Bahamian customers know that we are focusing on them to satisfy and to meet their needs that are peculiar to us. When we start talking about looking at other markets, we generally get caught up in looking at the larger picture, but we forget that there's a local consumer who we need to understand what their needs are. And that's how the session started, with looking at what Bahamian consumers needed. Adaptability, I think you asked a question earlier about where people want to still deal with cash.
Mm-hmm.
I think more and more Bahamians are becoming adaptive to the idea that cash, in order for me to use cash, it means that I have to get up and go somewhere.
Right.
To take it and have it processed. More Bahamians are beginning to realize, you know what? It's a lot more efficient for me. It's safer for me to be able to pay online, and I can track all of my expenses. And I'll give you a good example of that. A lot of Bahamians don't have debit cards. A lot of Bahamians don't have credit cards. But Island Pay's solution, the one thing that makes it really different is that you can go to our kiosk and you can buy a prepaid debit card and participate in any cashless environment. Mm-hmm. So there again, we've found a solution with all of the announcements recently about government services being digitized and all those other things. Well, guess what? Bahamians, by and large, don't have to feel left out of that cycle. You can go there and you can buy a card and go to any of those venues and find yourself participating in an environment that otherwise you'd have been left out. So I think when we start talking about the value of collaboration, these are the kinds of results that we get when we work together.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and also with Jeff talking about having Island Pay local, that has absolutely been the greatest benefit of integrating with Island Pay, as it has made our operations a lot easier than using any other payment gateway option. We don't have to wait days or weeks for funds to be available, anything like that. So just having the customer use their Island Pay wallet balance and not having to take it out in cash or not having to do anything else with it, they could use that same balance and pay for food delivered through the Bahama Eats app. That has really been the crucial difference between Island Pay and a lot of other options.
Yeah,
and that's right, because I think oftentimes we forget the other side of this is where we want the consumer to enjoy the same benefit of using low-cost digital means of paying, as well as the merchant who's now experiencing lower costs in settling his transactions because, as Gershon said, you don't have to wait for days and weeks. In 24 hours, your money's in your account. It's there. It's clean. You settle at a far less rate than you typically do with some of the other debit cards and credit cards. And so he's happy as a merchant. The consumer is happy as a consumer because he or she, there are no monthly fees on his card. There's no load fee. There's no spend fees. He has, and he's using his own money to fund his own spending that he can track using the wallet. So any of our 22,000 wallet holders can actually go and use the balances the available balance in their wallets and pay for food delivery or any other services that are online today. You don't have to use another mechanism. You can do that. And that is really bringing low-cost, secure solutions to the Bahamian consumer. We save the consumer money, we save the merchant money. Everybody at the end of the day gets to be able to do that and be happy with these new solutions.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about that in a bit, but we're still getting questions, Jeff, about is this different from a debit card? Is it different from a credit card? What's the difference? Explain that to us, especially for those who are unbanked, and why this is different.
There are a couple of fundamental differences. Very, 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 very good question. One, there are no credit checks required. There's no tedious application process. Why? There is KYC, and that's as easy as uploading your driver's license or an NIB card to the wallet. If you wanted a debit card, there's no requirement. You want a debit card for $300, then you purchase a debit card for $300, and that's it, right? You can track your balance by using the wallet, but the beauty of it is for the unbanked and the underbanked, no application, so therefore there are no fees. You can go to the kiosk today and determine what you want, a card for $100, $200, $300, $400, $500, and you buy that card, right? And you spend your money. And that's the great thing about it. By doing so, we're not contributing to the increase in consumer debt. Why? Because the consumer is using his own money, right? And so for the consumer, it's a lot easier. So no applications required, no application fees. It's immediate. You can purchase the debit card today, literally without any of those prerequisites that you typically would have gone through using traditional banking means.
And as it is a card like that, is it accepted everywhere? Do people need to be concerned about that?
The card is accepted anywhere, 34 million places around the world, including the Bahamas. Wherever credit cards are accepted, you can use your debit card. As a matter of fact, there are several key cashless restaurants in Nassau right now, and you'll hear more about this on Thursday in our release, that are actually who have gone cashless. And they offer our cards to their clients as the means to participate in a cashless environment. It works. At the airport, you find that all the airlines, when you pay for your luggage, they said, a year or so ago, prior to the pandemic, we won't be accepting cash. Well, all of these are easy, low-hanging solutions. Travel with a ton of money. We have people leaving to go to Florida for the summer, right? They're buying prepaid debit cards rather than carrying a ton of cash.
Yeah.
We had a professor here the other day who went to a graduation in Idaho and purchased one of our cards before she left, went for a week, no issues, used her card the entire trip. So these are all solutions right at the fingertips of every Bahamian today. No application fee, no load fee, no monthly fees. It's all your money. It's a simple thing to do. So we're happy to provide that solution.
And both of you can answer this. What would you say to the Bahamian who is angry that this is happening? That why do I have to do this? What was wrong with cash? What would you say to that person to get them to understand that this is the way of the future and that they need to get on board?
We have to keep our eyes on the global space. We've been talking for 30, 40 years about this global community, right? And the entire world is moving to more digital solutions. It's not peculiar to the Bahamas, but the Bahamas must be sure that it as a country is well able to maintain a pace of transition that keeps it connected to a global community so that Bahamians, businesses, consumers, the government has the ability to stay connected and get access to this global community. We can't, when we start talking about ease of doing business, we can't talk about ease of doing business in a silo as it relates to the foreigner doing business in the Bahamas. We must also work diligently to make sure that consumers have the ability to do business, by extension, be able to do business outside. So while we know that there are many who would love to hold on to cash, the reality of it is more and more countries around the world are moving away from cash and using digital forms of cash. So it's not peculiar to the Bahamas, but it is to our benefit to enable Bahamians to continue to have access to global markets and to commerce globally.
Okay. All right. We need to take a break. When we come back, a lot more to talk about with Gershwin Green with Bahama Eats and Jeffrey Beckles with Island Pay. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Carry this load. I need a dollar, that's what I need. Hey, hey. Well, I need a dollar, that's what I need. Well, I don't know if I'm walking on solid ground, 'cause everything around me is falling.
Girl, Junior just showed me Bella Boy on his phone.
What you mean? He take picture of that good-for-nothing boy?
Shh, you don't want Bella here. You say that. You know she always say that's my good child.
So what he doing in Junior phone?
Oh, he there because the police looking for him. He on their wanted list.
Wanted persons in your phone now?
Yes, child. And when police want to find anybody quick, after something happen, they can send pictures direct to your phone. Go to Google Play or App Store and search for Crack Crime Bahamas. Then pick install and it will go straight to your phone.
There is also a section on missing persons?
Yes, girl. Everybody needs to get this app so police can tell us right away when these people go missing. Just like an alert system.
Yes, it has numbers for Crime Stoppers Bahamas, so you can call and nobody knows it's you. Call directly to Miami and give the information without giving your name or anything about you. I tried the other day, and when I hear Junior and his boys talking about where they hide those guns, I walk quick round the corner and call that number.
Calls 328-823-8477 from the Family Islands. This traffic report is brought to you by Shield Insurance and Prudential Loss Adjusters.
And our final look at traffic this morning, we've got the inner city drivers in and around Market and East Street in the north experiencing a number of diversions that's affecting the traffic in that area. A down lamp pole in the area of Chapel Street has caused the closing of that street, and as a result, traffic heading south on Market Street are being diverted through Ross Corner, and Ross Corner itself from the East Street side, police are blocking that entrance so that Ross Corner, East Street, and Gibbs Corner, that intersection, extremely busy right now. In fact, for the last hour this morning, BPL in there on Chapel Street about an hour already, and projecting it's going to take them about another 2 hours of work before they're able to reopen the area. So to avoid further congestion, please find an alternate route rather than getting mixed up in that area. The after 9 traffic congestions out there still attempting to dwindle down, but heavy routes like Gadsden Road and Samalabala Highway and even Blue Hill Road in the south still having a difficult time clearing that heavy traffic flow. In the last 15 minutes or so, bumper-to-bumper traffic moving along Shirley Street from the heavy traffic flow that came off the Eastern Road is still flowing out there. Soldier Road traffic heading into the Wolf Road traffic light still creating a lengthy delay line out there getting through. And the Morning Marathon Road still busy on the ride into the city. East Street in the south still slow getting through the Independence Drive roundabout. It's just been a challenging and late day for a number of routes this morning. This National Traffic Report brought to you this hour by the folks over at Dr. Danny Johnson Associates at Foot and Ankle International, who offers the simplest and safest treatment for foot injuries. They're located Dean's Lane atop the hill at Fort Charlotte. Call them at 302-5402. That's 302-5402 for more info. With you around the sky, look at traffic in real time. I'm VA-N.
Hello, sir. Your credit card bill is due. Hello, sir. It's time for your monthly loan payment. Tired of creditors pounding at your door? Sign up for a debt consolidation loan from Fidelity. Your debt into one low monthly payment. What's more, you will also earn interest on a built-in savings account. The pandemic has curbed many freedoms, but at Fidelity, our focus is to help regain your financial freedom. Visit a branch or speak to a Fidelity Bank at 356-7764. COVID safety measures in place at all branches. Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It's time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. A new International Monetary Fund IMF working paper has revealed that China has channeled more than $4 billion into Caribbean-based offshore financial centers, including the Bahamas. The paper, titled Chinese Investment in Latin America, Sectoral, Complementary, and Impact of China's Rebalancing, revealing that in 2019, Latin America and the Caribbean attracted $6.4 billion in foreign direct investment from China, accounting for 5% of China's total outward FDI. Specifically, $4.3 billion of that amount was registered as outflows to offshore financial centers such as the Cayman Islands, British Virgin Islands, and the Bahamas. The figures were derived from official data published by the Chinese Ministry of Commerce. You can read more about this in today's business section. Carnival Cruise Line confirming in a statement that it will return to service from Texas beginning July 3rd, sailing its Carnival Vista ship from the port of Galveston with fully vaccinated passengers. The cruise line is also eyeing a July start from the port of Miami, though it has not yet offered a definitive restart date as it did with its Texas operation. According to the statement, Carnival continues to work with the CDC out of the U.S. and the state of Florida on the cruise restart, and hopes to have an update to passengers booked on July cruises from Miami by Friday of this week. President of Carnival Cruise Line, Christine Duffy, says Florida lawmakers have worked hard to help to make the cruise line's return to sailing possible. Duffy acknowledged the strong support from both Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and Texas Governor Greg Abbott, as well as other state officials in making vaccinations available to cruise line personnel, which has expedited the restart process. Also overseas, the European Union's chief Brexit negotiator says the bloc is ready to act firmly and resolutely if it honor its commitments under the divorce deal that was supposed to keep trade flowing after Britain left the EU. In comments published today in the Daily Telegraph, I think are coming a day before talks with UK Brexit Minister David Frost on implementing the agreement. The relationship between the two sides has grown tense amid concerns over the so-called Northern Ireland Protocol, part of the deal that is designed to protect the peace process in Northern Ireland by keeping an open border with the Republic of Ireland, an EU member state. The protocol has sparked anger in Northern Ireland because it creates a customs border between the region and the rest of the UK, creating new red tape for businesses. Pro-British Unionists also fear will weaken the ties between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK. The EU says the provisions agreed upon by the UK and the EU as part of Britain's Brexit terms from the 27-nation bloc are needed to protect the EU single market. The UK angered Brussels earlier this year when it unilaterally extended a grace period, delaying the inspection of many supermarket items shipped to Northern Ireland from England, Scotland, and Wales. The Telegraph reported that the UK may extend this action to include chilled meats such as sausages and ground beef, which won't be allowed into Northern Ireland from July 1st unless the two sides strike a deal. Closer to home in your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Monday, your market movers, APD Limited moving 225 shares, closing unchanged at 32.12. Consolidated Water down 5 cents, closing at 2.50. Emira Incorporated up 4 cents, closing at 11.79. The BISX All Share Index closing at 1,951.34, unchanged. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
This is Guardian Radio 90 News Smart Talk all day.
I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Well, I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. Hey, hey. Said I need a dollar, 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 that's what I need. And if I share with you my story, would you share your dollar with me? Bad times are coming and I reap what I done sowed. Hey, hey. Well, let me tell you something, all that glitters ain't gold. Hey, hey. It's been a long old trouble
And we're back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with you this morning on this Tuesday morning. Speaking with Jeffrey Beckles with Island Pay and Gershwin Green with Bahama Eats. And we're having a great conversation this morning. All right, so for Bahama Eats, for someone who's never used it before, tell us how it works, what they would need to do if they are ordering from a restaurant. Who do they talk to first? Outline the process for us, Gershwin.
Absolutely. So the first step is to download the Bahama Eats app on the Google Play Store or the Apple iOS Store, right on your mobile device. Once you just search in Bahama space Eats, you will be able to see our profile, and then you begin to download the app. After you download the app, you do complete the registration process. It's very simple. You add your first name, your last name, you confirm your email address, and then you're in. Once you're in the Bahama Eats app, you can scroll through our wide variety of restaurants and options, and you can pick which restaurant you want food from. You select their profile, you search the menu, you click what you want, you add it to the cart, and then you check out using your credit, debit card, or your Island Pay balance. And after you hit checkout, one of our delivery drivers will contact you directly on your phone, and they will ask for your location, and then you will get your food delivered. That's it. It's a very straightforward process. You could do this from the comfort of your home, right on your couch. You don't have to go a step to do it.
All right, so you don't have to go to the restaurant, you don't have to go to their sites or anything, just go through Bahama Eats.
Yes, go to the Bahama Eats app, and everything will come to you.
Wow. All right, so how many restaurants do you have at the moment? I'm on your social media, on your Facebook page. It seems like an endless number of restaurants. Everybody's there. But how many in total? Do you have that number?
We are over 50 partnered merchants, including restaurants, grocery stores, and liquor stores as well.
Okay. Yeah. So what's next? What is next for Bahama Eats? Where do you go from here?
Absolutely. So the plan is to obviously to continue growing our market here in New Providence. We want to make this our one of our focus points, of course, and then also expanding out to the Family Islands. We know a lot of Family Islands are in need of the service, such as Grand Bahama, Abaco, Exuma, and the list goes on. And then after that, looking at expanding regionally across the Caribbean and Latin American region. And this is really where Island Pay and us really, really align. I think we both have a really regional mindset of course, making a priority the Bahamas, but also having a regional mindset and growing from there.
And you said something that's very important. While we are very, very, very committed to the Bahamas, the reality of it is we talk a lot about who are looking at the Bahamas and the things that we're doing and saying, wow, again, the Bahamas is pace setting in a certain area. And this is why Island Pay and Bahama Eats is a great partnership, because we both have a very clear vision of what we can do to provide very good, sound, consistent platforms here in the Bahamas. Because as Gershwin talked about being able to download the app, you can do the same thing in about 2 minutes with the Island Pay app and literally be on board. You'll see in the coming days where we make some additional announcements where our Family Island customers who, if you go down to Porterski Dock, there's a lot of transactions going on, right? Bahamians who live in Family Islands are using our platforms to order goods here in Nassau, right? And having it taken to the mailboat to be delivered to Family Islands. So we're really committed to improving the quality of life for Bahamians, while at the same time helping Bahamians appreciate, understand the value of digital integration and transformation, the ease of doing business, the lowered cost of doing business on digital platforms are all part of our commitment to helping Bahamian consumers become educated in that. In our wallet, I mentioned that we already Sand Dollar integrated, so there's no need for our wallet holders to create a Sand Dollar account. Our current wallet holders and future wallet holders can actually have a virtual debit card if they so chose, or they can have the plastic card, which will take about 10 days to get here. So we've provided these instruments to be able to allow them to go on a Bahama Eats, look at the extended services and while they're doing that, Bahama Eats is now able to do a similar exercise where they're learning a lot more about the buying habits and needs of the Bahamian consumer. What that allows them to do is to look and see, what do we need to do next for our consumers? How do we continue to add value to our product and engage more and more Bahamians in this effort? So it's absolutely wonderful things like that we were excited about. And listen, going cashless should not be an issue for any Bahamian, because we have the solution, and we look forward to sharing more and more with the Bahamian community.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're getting some great questions here on our text line. You can continue to text us, 422-4796, tweet us, or Facebook us as well, and we'll take some calls a little bit later. But, okay, so we've got multiple questions. This person is a part two. I'm going to split it up a little bit. There's asking, will Island Pay be used for government payments, including NIB? That's part of that answer, the answer to that question. But let's talk about that. Is the government paying people through sand dollars yet? Do we have any idea when that's going to happen? Where do things stand?
Well, we are being integrated into the DigiPay platform that the government has rolled out, and so Island Pay will be an active part of the DigiPay platform. I envision that both from the private and public sector side, sand dollar payments will be the way of the future for the public as well as the private sector side. As more people become very familiar with how to use the sand dollar. So yes, we are already a part of it, and we will continue to grow our platform so that the integration with sand dollar or the fiat currency now remains very, very, very active.
Mm-hmm. All right. So the other part of the question, they're asking about, I guess, your competitors. There's some other companies that are offering similar services. They want to know what are the differences between you and what they do. Are you all the same? Are you just like the Canadian banks that compete with each other? Are there real differences?
There are real differences. Island Pay is the only PSP with a Tier 1 settlement rating. In other words, we use the same settlement that every global bank. We use the settlement network. So wherever you transact with an Island Pay card or digital card around the world, we're already integrated in that global system. Our wallet holders can go to our kiosks and withdraw cash, right? We're the only ones who can do that. We can accept cash as well as as deposits to your wallet. You can go to our kiosk and withdraw cash. You can pay in sand dollar as well as fiat, and you can move sand dollar and fiat in your wallet from one account to the other with ease. We're the only one that's connected through a global financial partner in MasterCard, which gives us usability. It gives the Bahamian wallet holder the ability not just to do business here in the Bahamas, but if you have $1,000 in your wallet and you want to use a portion of that to go and buy something overseas or at Walmart or whomever, you can do that. That's a difference. That's a fundamental difference that only us provides. So while we provide payment services, the beauty of it is in partnering with entities like Bahama Eats, enabling Bahamians to make better use of their dollars. And those are some of the fundamental differences. We also have a digital, a virtual card in our wallets. Okay, others don't have that either. Mm-hmm. So yes, there are fundamental differences that make us better than some of the others.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and Gershwin, you too. I guess Bahama Eats not the only game in town these days. Let's talk about your differences between you and some of the competition out there. And I get fees. People asking about the fees and what people pay to be a part of this. What can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. So first of all, we are the only ones integrated with Island Pay. And we are the only delivery app in the world who accepts a central bank digital currency, which is sand dollar, to pay for their food to be delivered to them. So that is, first of all, get that out the way.
That's pretty big.
But second of all, we have cheaper fees. Our delivery fees are a bit lower than delivery partners. Our cheapest fee right now is $4.99 delivery, and our highest fee is $9.99, going from Lightfoot Key straight out to Yamagraw Hill Road. So, our delivery fees are the cheapest on the island, and we like to be proud about that, to have it cheaper for the customer. And third of all, we like to highlight local restaurants. We are a big believer in providing delivery and technology solutions to local vendors, such as George's, Finger Lickin', Chef Poisson Sushi, The Dunes Kitchen, all of these new restaurants that have popped out over the past year and a half. We are the only ones that provide delivery solutions for the local restaurants. And we would like to continue that as a lot of home-based kitchens start to pop up. Obviously, Awaki, we're the only ones that provide delivery solution for Awaki vendors such as Drifters, Goldies, Curly's, and the list goes on. So those are a few of our key differences that we like to take a part of.
And Dwight, I'll just add this, and he makes a very good thing about being local. There's no other local entity who can issue you a prepaid card, debit card, MasterCard today. No one can do that. No load fees, no monthly fees, no spend fees, right? You can do that in as quick as 2 minutes at any of our kiosks, right? And be able to shop anywhere you want to shop in the Bahamas or anywhere else you want to go. And so, when you start thinking about increased travel for this summer, while it may not be what it was 2 years ago, well, guess what? We're providing right now the security for many Bahamian families, because we like to travel with a ton of cash in our pockets, right? Mm-hmm. We're providing additional security to Bahamian consumers by enabling their own money, where they can go to wherever they're going to go on their vacations, Florida or Atlanta, New York, wherever they're going in the Caribbean, and have the security of knowing that I have the ability to reduce the amount of cash that I carry, but carry it in a simple form of a debit card funded by me with no associated fees that we would have had under the traditional system. That, to me, says this is a great day for Bahamians in that you have low cost, secure means of transacting your business right at home, and yet with the ability to be global. You can't get better than that. Nobody else does that. Only Island Pay does that. And so we offer a virtual card and we offer the plastic card.
Very
and
smart.
a reloadable card. If you wanted a reloadable card, one that you can manage on your Island Pay wallet, you can apply for that. It takes 10 days to get it, and you can actually have a card that you fund, that you track your spending. You can turn it on and off in your wallet. You don't have to call anyone to turn it off. If you misplace your if you misplace your card, you can open the app on your phone and turn the card off. And when you find it, you turn it back on. Easy, right at your fingertips. Nobody else does that.
Very exciting stuff. Okay, we're going to take our final break and be back. We have more questions, and we'll invite people to call in as well. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Continue to tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. We're talking with Jeffrey Beckles with Island Pay and Gershwin Green with Bahama Eats. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
The boss man let me go. He said, I'm sorry, no help no more. I said, please, Mr. Boss Man, I need this job more than you know. But he gave me my last paycheck and he sent me on out the door. Well, I need a dollar.
You invest in your children, your home, and your community. But are you investing in your financial future? At CFAL, we specialize in investment management, retirement planning, mutual funds, and private wealth management. Our team of experts never stops helping you plan for tomorrow. Because tomorrow begins today. Call us at 502-7010 to see what our financial advisors can do for you. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Beulah, gal, can you believe this? We are now the patrol queens of the neighborhood.
We now large and in charge. So we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Can we report that too?
Of course we can.
But we could be in deep trouble if they find out.
We need to report what we see, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami.
So then we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles.
Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal.
So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in and stop the crime before it's your time. Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. Or text us through the Crack Crime Bahamas app. Stop the crime before it's your time.
Well, I need a dollar is what I need. Hey, hey. Said I need a dollar is what I need. Hey, hey. And I need a dollar is what I need. And if I share with you.
And we've got your final look at weather for this morning. We've got a ridge of high pressure that continues to dominate weather across the country, producing moderate to fresh breezes through tonight. There is a risk of rip currents, though, especially along eastern and southern shorelines throughout the country. For all areas, look for partly cloudy, hot, and breezy conditions today with a slight chance of a few passing showers, turning mostly fair and warm tonight. Temperatures looking pretty warm today. Highs getting up to around 91 Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 75 Fahrenheit, 24 Celsius. In your extended outlook, high pressure will continue to promote warm and pleasant conditions across the country through Thursday. For tomorrow, Wednesday, variably cloudy, warm, and breezy with a few passing showers. Thursday, partly sunny, warm, and a bit breezy with a chance of a few stray showers, mainly in the southeastern Bahamas. In the tropics, we're still keeping an eye on that area of low pressure expected to develop over the southwestern Caribbean Sea by tomorrow or Thursday, and some gradual development is possible as the system moves towards Central America. There's right now a low chance, about 30% chance for formation into a system through the next 5 days. That's your morning blend weather check.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
Won't be needing your help no more. I said, please, Mr. Boss Man, I need this job more than you know. But he gave me my last paycheck and he sent me on out the door. Well, I need.
And we are back here with our final 3 minutes of Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday morning. Dwight Strachan speaking with Jeffrey Beckles with Island Pay and Gershwin Green with Bahama Eats. And again, you can call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, or text us, 422-4796. Gershwin, you see that you on your Facebook page, you have drivers of the month. You've got a number of those going on. How many drivers do you have? How many employees does Bahama Eats have at the moment?
Yeah, so right now we have over 25 active delivery drivers with about 7 full-time employees at this time. We have a full in-house development team that is attentive to all technology needs because, as you know, technology has always problems happening every single day. So we have a full in-house development team along with our marketing team and our designer team as well. And then obviously our dispatching team that does a great job handling orders every single day.
And you are looking for drivers? You're still looking for drivers?
Yes, we're always looking for drivers. Any drivers that would like to drive for Bahama Eats, please search our website, bahamaeats.com. They go on our website and fill out the driver application form, and one of our team members will contact you as soon as possible.
All right. Jeff, here's a question. Does the debit card come with a PIN? Well, the card that you offer come with a PIN, and nothing is really free. How much will this card cost me in the short and long term?
The debit cards cost $5. The reloadable card costs you $10, and that's it. You can go to the kiosk and pay $5 to the kiosk, and it'll give you a card. If you want a reloadable card, you can apply for that in your wallet, and it'll cost you $10, and it'll take about 10 days to get to you. It'll come printed with your name, with an expiry date, fully pin chipped and ready to use. And if you use the virtual one functions just like the plastic card.
Well, kiosks. Where are your kiosks located? How many do you have?
You can very quickly. We have 3 at the National Stadium, one at Bargain City, CBS on Carmichael. We have Quality Home Center on Carmichael, Superwash East, Charles Saunders. Then we have Kenneth Food Store in the Carey's Plaza on Prince Charles, the Crew Pub on East Street North and Bay Street.
Okay. This text here. Now, you said it before. I don't know if they missed it, that you're accepted wherever credit cards are accepted. They are asking if you're accepted with merchants that don't accept non-U.S. currency cards. I don't understand that part there. But okay.
Yes, we do. Yes, we are. Yes. There are several U.S. merchants, Canadian merchants, who typically would not. Ours, we don't have that issue. And so the answer is yes, it's acceptable.
For the local cards here that have challenges.
Yes.
Okay, I get it now.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So, and yes, then the $5 and $10 you mentioned, that's one-time payments for the cards.
That's it.
Yep. Okay. All right. So one more pitch to those who are on the edge or on the fence about the country going cashless and hearing this and all freaked out. I every time I hear a company that announces it, I hear somebody mumbling, "This doesn't make any sense." What do you say to those folks?
Well, it's the way of the world, and the Bahamas will maintain its progression so that we can be able to provide Bahamians access to this very rapidly changing world. Island Pay has provided a solution for all of those entities that have gone cashless and those who will go cashless. We do have our prepaid debit card as well as our reloadable debit card that you can access today without all the fanfare and delays and hassles of previous and traditional applications for debit and credit cards. And so please give us a call, 603-6260. You can visit our website. You can email us at info@islandpay.com. We'll be happy to speak with you. But the solution is there. There need not be any frustration with regard to people, entities going cashless. The solution is here as provided by Island Pay. No load fees, no costs, no monthly fees rather, no load fees. You can download your wallets. It's free. Upload your NIB card and a driver's license, and you will be good to go on because you will be now KYC wallet and ready to go. We have the virtual card as well as the physical card.
Yeah. Someone's asking if you can receive payments by using QR codes or
Yes,
from
sir.
someone who doesn't have an Island Pay account.
Island Pay's wallets are interoperable. So if somebody else from another wallet wants to send you money, that's not a problem. Island Pay resolved. That's another distinct difference between us and other wallets as well.
All right. And Gershwin, you're a young guy out there.
Yep.
This is what some people are thinking. This is for the young. This is not for old timers. But what would you say to anyone who's thinking this is too fancy for me?
Look,
This
what I would
cashless
say to
life.
that is if you have a WhatsApp account and if you use WhatsApp and Facebook on a day-to-day basis,
yep,
you are able and you are competent enough to download the Bahama Eats app on the Google Play Store or iOS Store and have your food delivered to you. As we all know, everyone is able to use WhatsApp, Facebook, and go online and read emails. Now with the government going digital as well, you're forced to now have to learn these new websites. So if you were able to do that, to anyone listening out there, you are just good enough and even better to use.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not intimidating. Trust me, it's really not. But I'll tell you this in closing: the world is moving. It is transitioning. The Bahamas is going to be there. Island Pay and Bahama Eats represents the future of the Bahamas, and we look forward to partnering with others and other merchants who want to onboard with their delivery services with Bahama Eats, and obviously using our platform. We're ready for it because the future is here. It's not about what's coming. The future is here.
Okay, and David, you are not related to the other island, the famous island luck company. That Island Pay is very different, right?
Island Pay is very different,
very different.
Independently owned, completely different entity altogether.
Not the same. Okay, great. There you have it, folks. Thank you very much, Jeffrey Beckles, Island Pay, and Gershwin Green, Bahama Eats. Very exciting stuff. Keep up the excellent work that you're doing. Thank you both for talking with us this morning.
Thank you. Good to be here.
All right.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. That's it for us. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great day. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green.